If you search the motocross world for someone that loves dirt bikes more than Kris Keefer, you'd struggle. From his early days at XRs only, racing as a privateer, working in the print world to now full-time test rider for Keefer Testing Inc., Kris is proof of where your life can take you when you go all in. But Keefer isn't just about going fast, he's all about giving back, and he's helped thousands fine-tune their setups and get their most out of their time on two wheels.
The part that I love the most is helping the people figure out their bike or spend their money in a certain way.
Whether he's testing the latest gear, dialing in a bike, or passing down hard-earned wisdom, he's always looking to make someone's ride better. That's why, when Keefer talks, the moto world listens. Gypsy Gang, welcome back Kris Keefer to the podcast.
I met a gypsy.
Tired?
Hey?
Tired?
Nah, I'm living. The vibes are high. You're not doing headphones?
Oh, yeah.
Do you do them? Do you not do
Sorry,
them?
brother.
Up to you.
I know we're starting already.
We're in, bro. I'm living. The vibes are high, actually, today.
No soreness? GH? You got GHB?
Bro, what's GHB?
Glen Helen back.
Butt or back?
Both.
Yeah, nah. I did 2 laps yesterday. Nah, I did 10 laps yesterday.
That's it.
Total. Well, I got my new Monster Energy Edition YZ450F yesterday.
Yep.
So I had to drop the old one back. But I forgot that I had the X-Trig bar clamps on it. And I had to swap some. I did the Keefer front brake mod, which is probably the best thing that you
Dude,
could actually.
how good is that thing? Because
it's crazy good.
it's not grabby, it's strong, doesn't get spongy. It's actually not Keefer. I can't claim that.
Is that Dubai?
That's Doug's.
Yeah. That's probably the best mod I think you could do to that 450.
Once you have a Brembo brake, once you go Brembo, you never go back.
Oh, and just like the feel, the lever.
The lever's nice, the shape of the lever's nice. Yeah.
So good. So yeah, so we had to swap a few of those things, and then the track wasn't the best. I'm not the best. It was windy. It was just one of those days at GH. So I'm not sore at all. I'm still sore from getting my ass kicked at jiu-jitsu on Monday, but I'll get back on the horse tonight.
And we got to get you back motivated.
I know. Yeah, I told you last night. I said I've kind of lost the stoke a little bit.
It's quite easy to do here, I feel like, because California.
Oh, you're an East Coast guy now.
Well, we got a place in Georgia now.
Yeah.
But I feel like here, I love California. I love the desert. I'm a desert rat for sure. But as far as tracks here, we're just cooked. We're done. Nothing against all these tracks that are open. It's just, it's hit and miss. And then it's not even the track prep so much as how many people are at each track, because now we're losing tracks. So now it's just saturated.
Yep.
So the quality of riding is going down.
Yep.
Because now you got 150 dudes on the track.
Yep.
And there's no splitting practices, which I don't mind if they don't do that or not, but you got little Johnny out there dodging.
I got hit on the last week at Glen Helen. I was just trying to have a bit of a slow lap, and I pulled off to the right side of the track on the hip, the famous Glen Helen hip. Dude just jumped straight into the back of me.
What?
Yeah, just he cartwheeled. I was fine. I don't know how I stayed up.
No flagger there.
No flagger. I had to circle back. There was 3 dudes went, flagged everyone down, and then I went, made sure he was all right. He was like, "Oh, you gypsy tails," and I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "That makes it okay."
Oh my God.
I was like, "Bro, you all good?"
It's just crazy how many different types of riders go out to ride that. And I was just there Tuesday, and it was the same thing. You got guys that are just barely learning how to ride.
Yeah.
You got a dude on an XR 200. Just too many different types of people on one track. And that's
A recipe for the
it's bound to happen.
Disaster.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's wild that there can be so many riders and so few tracks. Supply and demand should dictate that we're able to have, even going to Paris was hectic. And it kind of reminds me of surfing in California.
Oh, really?
Because there's so many people that want to surf, and there's only, there's X amount of surf breaks, and it's sort of the same thing. You just get out in these famously crowded lineups, and you just can't do shit.
And then what I've noticed when I go back east and ride, they split practices, which I think is good. Yeah. But for me, selfishly, I want to keep riding, right? So I don't want to just sit around for an hour and then go back out. But they need to do something like that. And I think at some point they do that on weekends. But Man, I've been to Paula on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And the vet track looks like the 91 freeway.
It's crazy,
It's a dust
dude.
bowl out there. And then just think about that. A vet track with 100 people on it. Guys aren't in shape. Guys are going over their limit, riding over their head. And you're seeing ambulances come in and out of there all the time. It's just crazy. You think there would be a better recipe, and we just haven't caught on yet. And it's hard for me. I'm not a track owner. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, get your own track and do it. I'm like, yeah, it's probably a difficult job. But also, I think there could be better prep. There could be more organization. I just think these tracks, I'm not saying all the tracks, some of these tracks know no matter what they do,
People are going to show up.
They're going to show up.
Yeah.
We're coming anyway because we're desperate. We need a place to ride.
Yeah.
So if it's a half-ass prep or if it's a good prep, I'm still getting paid. So what's the motivation for them to do a really good job, right? And I think a lot of these people that come in and they own a track, they're just starting out and they're hauling ass. They do a great job for the first year and then they get burned out.
Yeah.
And then there's like,
Yeah.
you got people, us idiots, that are bitching about the track all the time. No matter what, they can't win. So you just get beat down. It's like being in a corporation.
Yeah.
You want to change everything when you get there. You're motivated.
Yeah.
And then you get chop, 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 chop. Finally, just like, here, I'm here clocking in and clocking out. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. It is hard, man. I honestly hadn't even really put that much thought into it. And you know what's crazy, though? That's so much better than Australia.
Really? There's just not many tracks?
We have nothing, really.
What about
at
private
home.
tracks?
You know, like, yeah, if you know people. But like we have one track that we ride that's kind of close to our place in the Gold Coast, Stanmore, which is like, it's pretty good, but it's like small. It's not open very often. Well, and that's the other thing, right? So we have tracks, but they're open like a couple of days a week. Maybe one day a week for some, a couple of days a week for another. So, yeah, I mean, even just the fact, though, here that you can ride every single day of the week is crazy. You can't do that in Australia.
Well, just think 5 years ago, we had 2 tracks up in the high desert.
Yeah.
And
Raceway 3.
we had 395.
Yeah.
We had Comp Edge.
Yeah.
And we, at one time, we had a place called VMC, which is right off the 15 freeway. And so we had 3 tracks, and I could actually ride up there all week and not have to
come down here. Yeah.
Yeah. So
what happened to those?
the guy who owned 395 and Comp Edge was the same guy, and he has another business, and he has lots of money. So he was doing it out of the love of the sport.
Yeah.
And he just like we talked about, he got worn down. He was tired of it, and it wasn't making sense for him. And he decided to close it down or sell it. And what we called Sunrise back then, now it's called 395. It just got sold to a trucking company. It's going to be a truck stop. And then Comp Edge is city-owned. So the water rights were really expensive. Not a lot of people were coming up because, one, it's kind of windy in the high des.
Yeah.
And it's a drive, fuel costs. So no one wants to drive. But I feel like now, if you reopen that place now, because what's going on in Southern California for tracks, I think it would be successful.
Yeah.
Because people want to get the hell out of LA, San Bernardino County, go up there and ride. And if you prepped it right, you'd get the people. So I just think it's cost too much. Insurance rates, we know all the thing about people suing. I mean, California's sue happy.
That sucks, bro. Like, if you sign an indemnity,
dude,
like, how
we
is
could
that?
have a whole show on this.
How is that not a thing? You sign. Dirt bikes are dangerous as a motherfucker. You crash, you die. It's happened before.
Yeah.
This ain't a fringe case.
Yeah.
You cool with that?
Yeah.
Sign here.
Hey, man, I'm going to jump in a Shark Tank. You might get bit.
Yeah.
You might fucking die.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand is, like, these people sue the tracks, or they sue the people, or they sue the other person on the track, or whatever, right? And it's a dangerous sport. Me and my son talk about this. Only time I would even think about suing is if some idiot drove a water truck across.
Negligence.
Right.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's up to me and my parenting skills. Say, hey, man, there's a dangerous spot over there. You might want to use your fucking head a little bit and not ride over your head, because if you crash there, it could be good night. So these parents need to pay attention more to their kids. They need to understand the sport a little bit more, be more diligent towards their children. And then the guys that are out there being older, they need to be wiser and say, okay, look, I'm not very good. You got young 16-year-olds revving the shit out of me. I'm going to get over a little bit.
Or go to the vet track.
Or go to the vet track. It's common sense, but I can't believe how many people out there that don't have it.
Common sense ain't that common.
Dude, it's unbelievable. I run into it all the time, and it's crazy. And you're riding a dirt bike. It's insane. And I understand us that ride dirt bikes. We're not the smartest people, most of us. We're just people that want to be outdoors. We like adrenaline. Like, I get it. But, like, there is a sense of responsibility when you strap on a helmet, right?
Yeah. Dude, I'm a decent rider. There's days where I'm just like, you know what? I'm in the way on the main track. I'm in the way. I'm not riding at my best right now. I'm not fit enough to be stringing together a 20-minute moto out here. I'm going to the vet track. I'm taking my medicine and I'm going to the vet track. And I'm just going to
another day.
Yeah. And I'll come back. I'm building up the base. I'll get back out there. But like, I don't need to be.
You don't want a dick measure.
I don't need to be amongst that.
Yeah.
All the time. And it's just, yeah. And I see some people that go out onto those tracks and I'm just like, get the off the track.
Well,
like,
even
what are you doing?
Even for me, like when outdoor season comes, the Glen Helen and all these guys are out here training, dude, I'm like, I'm in the way. And I'm like, holy shit. I'll pick another time of day to go. Sometimes Glen Helen Thursdays before Nationals, I'll go at 2 or 3 o'clock just because I know people are leaving and I can get my practice in on a rough track and not have to be in the way of Jason Anderson or someone out there, you know? So,
Bro, what's Prado going to do?
Dude. I was on board. People are like, oh, he's going to be top 5. And I was kind of there. But I'm like, let's just get through the season. Didn't last very long, did it?
Well, outdoors, he's going to be amazing, I think. But not from California.
No.
He needs to go because, like, he's planning on staying here.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I think it's going to change.
Yeah,
I think he's going to get it.
He'll have to go.
Yeah.
He's got to go somewhere.
He's going to be here for a couple months riding and doing. He's like, okay, this isn't it.
No.
He's going to have to go somewhere.
But, I mean, he would be used to public tracks a lot because of being in Europe. There are a lot of public tracks there, obviously, but
not this crowded.
I just don't know that it's like this, eh?
And he's probably used to riding crap tracks, right? They're not prepped. I don't think that's a worry. I just think the sheer amount of people and him getting the quality time in.
Yeah.
I even talked to Will Hahn about this. He's like, what am I going to do? My guys are going to go outdoor, and we're going to have to go to Paula. We're going to have to go to Glen Helen. How am I going to expect my guys to do 3 sprint laps with 100 people on the track? I can't tell them to do that. So what do I do? You know, so we're running out of places to go. There's a couple private tracks that are really good here.
Yeah.
But then that costs money, right? So how much time and money you're willing to spend to do that?
Yeah.
When you can go back east, where I'm going to be staying in Thomaston, Georgia, there's 8 tracks within 2 hours. And that's not counting the private tracks that are willing to go ride or, hey, I'll prep, come out and ride. There's so many core. I would say there's more core fans and people in the East Coast than there is in the West Coast. And they just love the sport and they want to just ride. So they're like, yeah, come out and we'll prep and we'll go ride together.
Yeah.
Or these other tracks, you know, they're all over. There's 8 tracks. It's crazy. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like I need to spend more time there.
Yeah.
Us moto media guys, we're all doing the same shit. We're going to Glen Helen. We're having an intro at Glen Helen. And all the manufacturers are here, but no one's going back east or doing things. And we're neglecting all these guys that ride back east that have different types of dirt, that live a different life. And I feel like we're missing some of that. So I want to go back there and spend some of my time during the year and ride better dirt, quality tracks, be with different people, see if the bikes change. And I just think California, man, we had a clock and it was ticking and it's running out.
No, you're right. I mean, I haven't really been there here that long, like riding to get the full gauge. But I mean, even when I was here with the teams back in the day filming, and it was just so many more options. You had the ranch, you had like all these different places.
Yeah, we used to go up to Zacca Station just up northern California.
Yeah.
Zacca was great.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had Milestone, we had even State Fair. It was a smaller track, but it was good dirt.
Yeah.
And we had options. And then there was 3 places open on Monday, so it wasn't as saturated.
Did you ever think back then that Cali would just do the downfall that it had riding wise?
No, never. I mean, I was up in the high des, and you think California's the mecca of dirt bikes. Everything is here in California, right? Everything, from companies to manufacturers to riders. If you wanted to be good, this is where you had to be. You don't see that. Everyone's going to Texas or back east. It's just, I think it's cheaper living, for one. You have better dirt.
Dude, what could $5,500 a month get you rent-wise in Georgia?
3,000 square foot home with 5 acres. That's fact.
So insane, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna be paying less for what I'm going to be in Georgia with 5 acres.
You're going to have 5 acres?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to ride on it?
That's undecided yet. Haven't got that far into it.
Did you buy a place or rent a place?
No, we're just going to rent for a year and have the option to buy this place. And I just want to feel it out. That's it's like a trial period for me. I want to go there for a year, see if it works. And then if it does, then we'll try to make a decision. But no matter what, I can't completely remove myself from California.
No,
because if I do that, I won't be able to afford to come back.
Yeah.
I'll be done.
Yeah.
And then there's still a lot of things when we have intros. When we have,
media intros.
You have to be here, right?
Yeah.
So a portion of my time has to be in California. But you talk about burnout. Like, I'm just not into it.
Yeah.
That's because the shit tracks that we have to ride here. It's windy. It's dry. Summertime, it's not going to get any better.
No.
When I go back east, I'm the same way as you. 2 times a year, I get burned out. It's always in the summertime because it's hot and I'm riding a lot. And then near the end of the year when there's a lot of intros and bike tests. Those are the 2 times a year that I get burned out. I went back east last year, about the time I burn out. I was like, man, I don't want to ride. I get back east. I ride Monster Mountain. I ride the Triumph facility. Just like that. I love dirt bikes. I cannot believe how much fun I'm having. And I've been doing it for 30-some years, right? And it's like I just started. It's just the environment that you're in, for one, the people that you surround yourself with, and then the quality of dirt and the tracks that you ride. I go with my kid, and we spend every day riding, and I'm tired as shit, but I just can't get enough because it's so fun. And I learn so much.
Yeah. You can actually improve there. And I think, too, like, part of it for me as well is I got very fit before World Vets, and I was riding a lot. And for my level, like, I'm never going to be very good at riding. But
That's fine, though.
For my level, I got good. And I could do 20 minutes at Glen Helen. And I was to a point where I could push myself. I was just doing good, and it felt like I was having a crack every time that I was out on the track. And then you get super busy with work, you move around, like there's just life happens, you prioritize this. You've just got all these different verticals in your life. Yeah. And it's like, okay, now work's at 100, riding's at 0, jiu-jitsu's at 50. Like you're just constantly playing this game. And then you get to a point where, like yesterday, I go out there, brand new bike, tracks.
You should be stoked.
I actually
you should be pumped. You're getting a new bike.
I thought that yesterday. I was like, this sucks for you right now. Like, you actually you haven't even looked at this bike like, this is my new bike. Like, you're just like, I got to put the clamps on it. I got to put my brake and wind and
you're just thinking negative.
Hat's getting blown off, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's not a cool place to be. Then you go out and ride. I'm like, I'm pretty shit. So it's just like there's a whole thing that you got to like build back up. But it's also one of those things where like that's why it's important to maintain a level. For me, you know what I mean?
This is a question I need to ask you. Are you a goal-driven person? Do you have to have goals during the year to make you motivated?
I mean, I would say yes.
Because I'm very much like that. Yeah. If I don't have a goal, I'm kind of lost. And just like you said, like, look, I'm gonna be almost 50 years old in a few years. I got what I got for speed. I am what I am. But there's certain goals that I want to achieve, and I still want to be good on a motorcycle. I still want to look good on a motorcycle. So if I don't have something to look forward to or try to chase, I'm just kind of spinning my wheels. And I think a lot of us that ride are wired that way, but we don't know it. I love racing still. Just like you said, you get busy. We got a lot of shit to do. You got all these podcasts. You got to go travel. You got to do all these things. And then racing or riding gets pushed aside. But if you have a goal, that carrot is still there in your mind. You're like, oh, I can't forget about that. And that makes you go do things, which I think in return makes you have more fun. Yeah. That's how I look at it,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that to me is like accountability. So I think that in general in your life, you do better as a person, as a man, when you load yourself up with accountability. Yeah. Like you have a child. Like that's a layer of accountability that probably made you step up in your life. Yeah. You have a wife. Right. There's a layer of accountability. Like I felt that when I got married, that was like, holy fuck, I'm now like this guy that needs to provide for this person. We need to have like, so the more accountability that you stack up onto yourself, the higher standard you end up holding yourself to. And I think that by setting goals, like World Vets was a thing where that was like a big goal. I knew that was going to be incredibly difficult, and I knew that I was starting at 0. I mean, dude, that year was crazy when I
You
look
did good
back at
that
it.
year too.
Well, I think for me, I
think
I did good in terms of I was able. I mean, I did 3 classes.
Yeah.
You know,
On a track that's pretty gnarly.
Was very gnarly. But I mean, I bought a fucking bike in Dubai, and I did like all these motos in the desert, and I sucked at it. And by the time I left, I was way better at it. And, you know, so the accountability factor of like, that's the big target at the end of the year. And you get a certain level of anxiety about it because you know that it's there and you know that you signed up. But if you don't do it, you're going to get rinsed. So
well, it's just like, why do it if you're not putting in the effort, you know? And for me, and a lot of my friends, they have other hobbies. And maybe you're kind of, you like jujitsu and all these things. For me, I'm one-dimensional, dude. I've tried to do other stuff in my life. There's nothing that I like to do besides ride my dirt bike. Sure, I ride bicycles. I do these things, but it's because of dirt bikes.
Yeah.
So for me, almost that's a negative for me. Like, I'm surrounded by dirt bikes for work. My hobby is dirt bikes. I almost wish I could like something else, but I've tried and I can't. So for me, it's even more important that I have some kind of goal to do, because if I don't, then I'm lost. I'm sitting on the couch, and if I'm not working, I'm like, what's my purpose? What am I doing? You know, and I'm like, I have to do something dirt bike related. I feel sorry for my family because I bitch and complain. Oh, I'm fucking burned out. I'm over it, dude. And then she's like, well, take some time off. Okay. 3 days goes by. I'm fucking bored.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not happy no matter what. I'm screwed. So it's like, all right, I'm just going to do what I know. I'm going to grind as hard as I can, work, and then have a goal. That's my life. That's who I am.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. That's what I got.
But I think that's a good place to be, though. Like, I mean, some people just never find their hobby. Yeah. They never find what they're good at. They spend their life hitting the piss, hitting the bag, fucking chasing women, gambling. Like, there's a whole lot of shit that you can do in your life that's way worse than be obsessed with dirt bikes, you know? But I think that I'm probably in the opposite category where I have too much shit I like.
Most of my friends are like you.
You know?
And they like a lot of different things, and they're fairly good at all these things, you know? I got a buddy named Dallas, and he's good at bicycles. He's good at photography. He's good at dirt bikes. He's good at all this shit, and he has fun doing it. I'm envious. I'm like, God, that looks fun.
But he probably has like a little bit of a hole where he doesn't feel good at any of those things. Like when I went and trained at B Team, which is like one of the best gyms in the country, and just got fucking rinsed. And like I should have got rinsed. And there's no world where I'm not going to get completely fucked up by those dudes because that's all they do. They're just the tip of the spear, as good as it gets. It's like me going and riding with Jett. It's just, that's it.
You think you're pretty good, then you go do something like that.
Yes.
Right.
But I mean, even in that, I was like, fuck, I kind of feel like I missed my prime. Like I'm 37 this year. I was a national champion, state champion, have like in terms of competitions, have not lost a competition in like literally years. Like didn't lose since I was a fucking early white belt. So it's like I was pretty good at it. And then I'm like, oh man, I kind of like let it slip. I got super busy. I started traveling. I went all over the world doing shit. I have a really great fucking business and podcast now. But like that kind of hurts me a little bit inside because I was like, damn, I was definitely better than this.
Would you trade that? If someone said, here you go, man, you can go back to this time in your life and you can be this good.
Yeah, probably not.
Right. So you're exactly where you need to be.
Yeah. It's hard to accept, I think, though. Like, I think we always want to be better. We always want, I think that's kind of part of being a man in a way too, is that you, at least for me, and there's people around me that I maybe I just surround myself with those kind of people, but it's always better. Yeah. You know, we're always like striving.
Yeah.
Which is a great thing because when you have families and, you know, you need to provide and you try and live a better lifestyle.
Yeah.
But that does rob you of a certain amount of joy
Yes, it does.
If you don't keep it in check, you know.
I mean, look, I'm in an age division clash now when I go race. And then I got these champions or these guys that had factory rides, and I'm racing against them, and I'm pissed off at myself. And I'm like, well, why am I mad?
Yeah, you shouldn't beat Mike Brown, bro.
Right. I shouldn't beat Andrew Short. Like, and I don't. But like, it still grinds my gears. I'm like, I should be closer. Like, it's always something, right? And I know where I'm at. And if I don't achieve that area, then I'm pissed. And I think that's okay. I kind of like that. I had a conversation with my son the other day. I go, I like getting my ass kicked every from time to time. Yeah. Because then it checks me and it motivates me more. Because when you're in this realm or an age division class and you're racing and you win a lot, you're just like, yeah, whatever. And then you go to the big leagues like Loretta's or whatever, and these good guys are, and you get your ass handed to you. You're like, oh, fuck. Ground you a little bit. And I'm kind of like, oh, yeah.
It kind of gets the hunger back a little bit.
Yes.
I'll train pretty hard tonight because of that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll go there and really fucking try and get it back, whatever that means.
But that's what I've always trying to been like preaching to these guys that email me or that I talk to at the track. And I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter how good you are. I don't care if you are C or B rider, or if you're 60 years old, like have a goal and whatever that is, try to achieve that. And that, to me, is what life is like. That's life. And that's what I love about dirt bikes. Because I was just out riding on Wednesday, and I would fuck up this corner all the time. And I laughed every time I went around that corner. I'm like, fuck, I suck right here. And I'm like, this is awesome. Because I can't do it right, and I'm trying, and it's hard. And I'm like, this is why I love this sport so much, because no matter how good you are, you fuck something up.
Yeah, you could always be better.
Yeah.
And I think that's the real thing that you need to try and get to, right? Like, what's the best version of you? And I think there was a time, like when I was competing a bunch in jiu-jitsu, I would go to these competitions. There was like a real window where I was like, that's like as good as I was in like a competition setting, you know what I mean? And then after that, I haven't been able to compete. But I'd go there and be like, if I lose, that's fully cool. Because I'm doing so fucking good. Yeah. Like in terms of my own level, I was like, I feel like I'm as good as I could be. And I've trained as hard as I can. And if I lose, I lose. But I probably won't. And it's like, that was a good feeling. And I think that's sort of what I was chasing with World Vets. Like I literally couldn't tell you what I got in any of the motos. Didn't give a fuck. Wasn't what I was there for.
But you know your measure.
I was just there to like not get tired, go as fast as I could, try and make some passes, get a good start. Like the metric was so different it wasn't the result, if that makes sense, you know? And I think that's probably like the place you should try and operate.
I guess what scares me as well, since we're getting all into this deep conversation, is like, let's say we took dirt bikes away from you. You have something else, right? And you have that passion, right? And I think you wake up in the morning, you have that drive for something else. If someone took that away from me, I see these guys getting hurt, and I think about that, and I'm like, dude, if I got hurt and I couldn't do this, where's my headspace at? And I don't think it's good. I think I am not in a good spot. I tell my wife this: if I can't do this, and I'm lights out, or I'm just hanging out, I go, do something to me to get me out of here, because I don't think I can. I don't think I can do it. Because this is what I love. I wake up in the morning, think about Aiden and Heather, think about dirt bikes. That's what I think about. That's it. And if you took some of that away, I'm like, fuck, I need to find something in a hurry to get me motivated or do something, because if it's just dirt bikes, it's scary for me, because just like we said on top of this thing, it's dangerous. You never fucking know, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that you would find, like, it's crazy. I was thinking on the way here, you're so unique in this sport. And it's crazy that there's not another you, right? But like really, really good rider, years and years and years of experience. You do the media thing and the testing thing, and you've like combined those two worlds, and you're the guy, like one of one. There's no other Kris Keefer in the game. So you just have this crazy niche and this crazy set of skills. And I think, like, honestly, even if the riding went away, you would still be incredibly valuable. And I think maybe the thing that you like about, or the thing that you're so into it and so passionate about, is because you're very valuable to people. Like, I was on the phone yesterday to one of my best friends from home, can't remember if you met him while he was here, but he emailed you a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago about gearing and a pipe for his 350.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, he was like, oh yeah, Keefer fucking got back to me and he told me this and told me, so I'm trying this and trying that. So like, I think part of what you would feel is not just the dirt bikes, but like value.
Yeah.
So I think no matter what, with everything that you've done, like you're very valuable to the community, you know?
Yeah. And I think for me, now that you bring this up, you know, I grew up with a disabled mother, right? So I took care of her. And I think I've merged that into my business where I like to try to help people.
Yeah.
I left the magazine world because the sales side and edit side worked too close together, and I fucking hated it because I had to write things that I didn't believe in. So when I started my business, the part that I love the most is helping the people figure out their bike or spend their money in a certain way. So I'm drawn to helping people, and I'm sure when you at Christmas time when you get a gift or you give gifts, I feel weird when someone gives me something. I'm just like, I don't know how to act, right? I don't know what to do. I have a special neighbor. He's disabled, and he comes over every day. His name's James, and he hangs out for 10 minutes and he leaves. But like, I'm drawn to those type of people. So I told Heather the other day, and we had this conversation. I go, man, if I could get around and someone took away motorcycles from me, and I was able to walk around and do the things that I can do just without dirt bikes, I would go and try to work with special needs kids or just do something that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Because this is what this does for me now. It makes me feel good. I ride, I feel good. I help people, I feel good. So I just merged that into my life.
Yeah.
So, but man, the thought of not riding is pretty scary for me.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the shit part is like at some point it's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one thing.
Absolutely.
Like the one thing that kind of got me through like the whole fire thing was I was like, well, I was going to lose all that at some point.
That's good. I mean, that's insane.
And it's like very hard to mentally commit to that. But
Yeah.
like we lost our wedding photos, we lost our wedding videos, like everything was gone. And it's like, you know, I think about when my dad dies and the funeral, I had fucking years worth of footage where I could have made like a gangster video of my dad doing all these fucking motorcycle trips. And like, that's the shit that really fucking hurt me more than anything in that. And it was just like, well, at some point you were going to lose it. You'd never have it. Maybe you didn't get to do those things, but like at some point we're all gonna losing all of it, you know?
That's fair. That's it. It is going to happen. And one day I'm not going to be able to test. I'm not going to be able to ride. And I got to put my effort into something else, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, and I think that you're just valuable in a completely different way, you know? And it's like the 35 years of riding and test, like that shit ain't going away. No. You know, just in terms of knowledge and what you've been able to do already, it's just insane. And
it's just crazy to think that dirt bikes, when you started riding, that how this grows inside of you, right? And you just think, I just ride dirt bikes. And then it just becomes a life and its own thing. And it's insane. And like, that's what me and my kid talk about. I go, you want to be a professional racer. Great. Awesome. But is this going to help you in your life down the road when you're 30s or 40s? You're going to be able to go riding and be cool and have this like mental wash after you're done riding. That's what I want for them. I want riding to be therapeutic for them, not just, I hate my dirt bike. You know, that's my goal. So it's just a weird thing. You just think it's just a dirt bike. Well, it's not. Yeah. At least in my world, it's not.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best ways that you can set up your life, and I can't remember like when I started feeling like this, but there was a point where with the podcast that it was doing so well, and not necessarily like money wise, because it's just never doing well money wise, like because there's always more. Like it's just a constant investment, right?
Yeah.
But it started doing so well in terms of like what I was getting from it, whether it was bikes and gear and this and that and opportunities and like all this shit that I was like getting from the podcast. And so I just started giving like way more of it away because I was getting more than I could use or more than I felt comfortable with. Or so you just start like, hey man, here's this, take that. Hey, this is coming up. Like, why don't you go do this?
Yeah.
And then you start getting all these messages from people being like, this has helped me through this and this has helped me through that. And you're like, oh, I'm doing this thing for me Like, I feel good. This makes me feel good.
Yeah.
But in turn, it actually just helps people.
Flows downhill.
Yeah, so it's like, the more I do of this, the more it helps more people.
Yeah, that's a
The
very
people
good
that come on the show, it helps them.
Yeah.
It gives them opportunity. Some of the shit that's come out of people doing the show is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, just for the guests themselves, you know? And so a bit of a light bulb went off where I'm like, this is kind of almost the secret to life. Like, do something that makes you feel great, but as a result, and the better you do it, the more you help other people. And if you can, like, genuinely think that and genuinely believe that, that's when you start to live a great life. That's what you do, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you get to ride every day. You get all your bikes. It provides a great life for you, sets up an amazing foundation for your son. Like, there's a lot of positive shit that it does for you. But in turn, the better you do that job, the more you help other people.
That's a great way of looking at it. And I think I think about that at times, but when you say it, I get something like it's inside of me. I'm like, that's right.
Yeah.
You lose that a little bit at times.
Yeah, you can get caught up in caught in the sauce for
You're
sure.
like, I got to type, or I got to go do a podcast, or just like you said, I got to go to Glen Helen and get a new bike. It's just like, it's not that fucking bad, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think, keeping that perspective and knowing that, maybe it's not just the dirt bike, just to bring it back to that worry where it's like,
You should write a book.
Maybe
It's not just about the dirt bike.
It's not just a dirt bike. Yeah, it's not about the bike. Isn't that Lance Armstrong?
That's where I was going with it.
Yeah. But it's like, it's the fact that you help, genuinely help so many people, you know?
And that's where I feel like I'm different than other moto media. Is like, hey, everyone's doing the same thing. We put out a video, we test the bike. Here's the product, right? But after that, what if you have questions? Unless you see the guy at the track. So for me, I like to leave that virtual door as my email. Like, hey, man, I might have not said something in that video, or you might need some more help. And when I was at Dirt Rider, we didn't have that access, So I was like, I want to do that. And that's kind of where I wanted my business. And I went that direction. And it's overwhelming at times because a lot of emails come through. But for me, I slow down. I'm like, okay, this guy really needs help. And you can tell a lot by how someone types or talks to you. And 90% of people are really genuine and they want the help. And that's what I love to do is put the help in and get them answers. And it makes me feel good, even though I bitch and complain at times to my wife.
What's the most common question you're getting at the moment?
The most common question is suspension setup. That's just how it is. Like, I have this, my bike's doing this. How do I take care of that? And the second one would be choosing between a bike. I wish, I want to get a bike. I'm undecided. Should I get a blue or a red bike? It's those types of questions. And then honestly, I get people emailing about life shit. Like, hey man, I'm in this predicament with my wife and I really love riding, but I have to do this. And I like those questions because it's a little bit removed from dirt bikes, and I've had some of that experience. So, but most of it's all just my suspension. What should I do? So it's more of a broad question about suspensions. A lot of these people just say, "Hey, I got this. It's doing this." And I'm like, "Dude, you're not giving me any information. Like, I don't know what the fuck you want." Right?
That would be very hard. Like, it's hard to get suspension right when you've actually got a suspension tech testing with
Well, then honestly, sometimes they'll explain it in a decent manner, but I go, hey, if you're at the track, send me a video of what your bike is doing. And then they'll send me a video, and then I'll look at it, and I'll give my suggestion, because I've been around a little bit. I can kind of look at a bike, but also I can kind of determine if the guy's technique is off. Hey, it's doing this because you're way too far back. Try moving forward and then see what your suspension does. So I do ask for some things like that, but I try not to be a pen pal. I don't want to be sitting on my computer all day answering your questions. Because it's a free service. And sometimes people say, why don't you charge for this? And I'm like, that's a slippery slope for me, because I don't want to be like some subscription-based service and then kind of lose my reader or my viewer, Say, everything costs money nowadays, and I'm free. And I just say, hey, man, just support the people that help me. But I don't know. It's just, it's grown bigger than I ever thought it was going to be. When I left Dirt, I was like, I'm just going to start my own thing.
That's what I mean. You're the only guy, though.
Yeah.
Realistically. Like,
But we could use more guys, I think, in our industry.
What about this little fucker?
Yeah, this fucker, right? He's not there yet.
You just don't even know, bro. Like, mark my... So, Aiden's in the corner here.
Yeah.
Mark my fucking words. You're going to realize one day
Oh, yeah.
that you just got like a gold mine that you're sitting on.
I'm glad you're saying this because I feel like they don't listen.
I've told him multiple times too.
Like
Have
father,
I not told you this
sons, you know?
before? Yeah. He'll come back around one day. He'll probably be sitting in the chair. He'll probably be like in his 30s and we're doing it. He's Keefer Inc. 2.0. He'll be like, man, you were right, eh? When you told me fucking Loretta's is a waste of time. I should have been making the cheddar over here.
Yeah. It's funny because when we have these conversations.
He don't listen to you.
No.
He's too busy taking you out, bro.
We should get into that
Has
conversation.
there been any good ones lately?
No, I've been nice.
Still
I told
the
him
last one?
Still got one coming. He's got one.
So that last one was the one.
That was a big one.
Have you got video of it?
No.
Have you told the story?
I haven't told it, actually.
Tell me the story.
Okay, so let me set this up a little bit. So Aiden and I train together, we ride together. It's one of the best things for me as far as being older and trying to keep what I have. He's faster than me now. He has good technique, so I learn a lot from him. But I like to try to measure up and help myself, right? So we moto down together. And we have this sprint, session called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1s, where you sprint 5 laps, you ride a parade lap, sprint 4 laps, ride a parade lap. So on and so forth till you get down to 1 lap. So we're at Mesquite MX, which is great, ruddy track. I'll go, hey, we're with a few other guys. I'll go, hey, we're going to do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1s. Okay. Hey, Dad, my bike isn't running very good. I don't know if I'm going to do it. Okay, well, just chill. Don't worry about it. Just ride. Don't go 100%, 70%. So I'll start first, Okay, Dad, yeah. And he started like 3rd or 4th. Well, I did the first 5-lap sprint. Okay, he's still back there. 4-lap sprint. And then I see him, he passed the guy that was 2nd. And then the rule, Jace, is on the parade lap, wheels down. You don't jump the jumps. You take a parade lap. It's kind of like, hey, I'm going to calm my heart rate down a little bit, right? Well, that little fucker, I see him out of the corner of my eye, brap, jumping shit, getting closer to me. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, what is he doing? So then the 3-lap sprint starts, and he is just in my ass, right? Just revving at me. And I'm like, so as dad, I'm pissed. One, he said his bike wasn't running right, and something happened, so I'm thinking about that, trying to do my moto, and I got some asshole behind me revving the shit out of me. So I brake check his ass in the rut. I just brake check him. So then we go to this one jump section that kind of goes uphill, but there's a big bowl turn, so it's very wide. So the line all day was you go wide, cut down. Well, I hear him behind me, and I can just hear that bitch tap to 11 grand behind me. I'm like, oh, he's coming. So I'm going to let him go up the hill. Well, I go up the burn to square up. All I see as I'm coming back down is this green KX250 straight Vince Freeze right into my freaking side. I explode. I endo off the bike, laying there. I'm like kind of dazed, like explode, bike steaming, all jacked up. I'm laying there looking up at the sky. I hear my wife. She's all the way down the other side of the track. What the fuck did you do? What did you do? She's screaming. I hear her running, right? And then Aiden comes. I'm sitting there looking up at the sky. Aiden comes over me. Dad, are you okay? Dad. And I'm looking up at him because I'm not answering because I'm pissed. But he probably thinks I'm hurt. I look straight up at him and I'm like, get the fuck away from me. Get away from me right now. I didn't mean to. I didn't. So then I'm even more mad. Now,
because he's just lying.
He's lying to Dad as he's laying down on the ground, right? So then I'm blacking out now because this is how mad I am as a father. 1, that you took your dad out. 2, that now you're lying while Dad's on the ground. So Heather finally runs over. Dubox there. People are like, seeing this family just go to shit in a handbasket right now, right? And I get up, and dude, I lose it, Jace. Get the fuck back on the bike. Get on the bike. And he's like, no, I'm going to get back on the bike. Because I'm ready to I'm just going to jack his ass up. And then Heather's like, no, she's freaking out. And I got people kind of surrounding like that work there. And I'm thinking, I'm like, oh my God, the Keefers are just checking out. This is going to not look great, you know? So cooler heads prevail. Aiden just leaves. I go, you better get away from me or you're going to be in a bad spot. My bike I couldn't even ride anyway. I don't know what I was thinking because my bike was jacked. So I had to ride back to the truck. One of my best friends was with Aiden. He took Aiden away to talk to him. So long story short, bike was ruined. I was pretty banged up. He was frustrated because Dad was holding him up. So he checks out. So on the way home, I don't talk to him the rest of the day. He's crying. He's upset because he felt bad because he hurt his dad. But I think he blacked out for a second and then came to and then realized what he did. So we had this conversation on the way home, and I go, dude, this is what you can't do when you race. Granted, your dad or not, you can't do that because you're going to get hurt or you're going to hurt someone else, or you may do that. Like, I even yells at him sometimes when he's on practice days. He'll rev bomb plumbers or concrete guys riding. I go, there could be a bad motherfucker underneath that helmet. And I'm going to let it happen.
You do that to me, bro?
Yeah.
I'm putting you to sleep, son.
I go, these kids out there that rev and do these things on the track, they think they're badass.
Yeah.
But that's not real life.
Yeah.
Real life is when you get off of that track. That dude takes his helmet off and he's ready to bounce, right? Let's go. You ain't ready for that, Aiden. You ain't gonna beat no one's ass. Yeah. So we had this conversation.
You're going straight LaPaglia Ryan Hughes vibes.
Exactly. And so this is a funny story now, but I'm still, when I tell it, I get jacked up a little bit.
Dude, you were pissed when I spoke to you after it.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I don't think he's completely learned about blacking out because he's blacked out a couple times during races. So he needs to learn some of that racecraft, calm down. But it was funny for a long time. Every time I see Doug, how are you and Aiden? It just to dig me a little bit, right? But
you guys getting on?
But that competition between us, it's fun. But that was one of the days I kind of went overboard. Good times.
Hey, it's bound to happen at some point.
Yeah.
You always check your dad, though.
I had the same type of thing with my dad at one time.
Yeah.
Like, I was in trouble at home because I lied about something. He was pissed. And then he kind of pushed me, which I got my ass beat. That's how I learned. But then I pushed back one day. And I don't think he was ready for that. And it made him more mad. But they also understood after that day, it was a little bit different. It was never the same, you know? So hopefully we don't get to that point.
Yeah, dude, I used to have that shit with my dad all the time.
Did you have that one?
Oh, dude, I was the worst. But I like fighting. So that's like kind of...
So you invited it in a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem. Like,
okay.
I'm like one of the... Dude, when I was younger...
You just ready?
Oh, loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I wasn't like that. I'll fight if I have to, but I'm not looking for it.
No, I was.
Really?
All the time.
Because nowadays you can't.
Nah, it's so different now.
Because you don't know what the hell's going to happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, where we grew up was pretty rough, but it was definitely just like fisticuffs rough, at least while we were in school. Once you get out of school, it gets a little bit dicey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was always in fights in the street out the front of our house and just loved it.
Wow. I think I've been in 2 fights my whole life. And that was because I was sticking up for someone else. But after that.
That's good though.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to stay away from that.
But I just like never minded confrontation.
Yeah.
Like some people will do everything to avoid confrontation. And I'll be the kind of guy that's like,
let's handle it.
we
can handle this.
And even if it's not like a physical, like it's not like every time's going to get into a fight.
Yeah,
but just actually like not backing down and making the other person back down. I was just always fine.
I'm the same way.
I was always fine with it.
I like talking. Like, I'm a good communicator. And I think even in my marriage, I talk more than my wife, which is rare for a dude, right?
For a guy, yeah.
But like, if there's a problem, I'd rather talk to you and hash it out.
I'm the exact same, yeah.
And if we don't come to an agreement, that's fine. But at least you and I know where we stand. I like that. Yeah. I don't like walking into a room knowing that guy or this dude over here, like, I don't want to know that. I want to know exactly who you are. You know who I am, and that's fine.
I had a conversation with one of the higher ups at one of the promotional groups in the sport. I just sent an email asking for something, and they just didn't reply. And I just walked straight up to him at the next race, and I was like, "Hey, you didn't reply to that email, eh?" And he's like, oh, well, you know, like I wasn't going to let you do what you're asking. And I was like, yeah, just tell me. Just write me an email back.
No.
And I said, I'm completely fine with you replying, fuck off.
Yeah.
That ain't going to hurt my feels. This hurts my feels.
That's an Aussie thing, though.
Is it?
I think so. Like, you guys don't give a shit.
Nah. It hurts my feelings more to be not replied to than it does for you to just tell me to go fuck myself.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I respect to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I get it. So do I.
Because I know when I was asking.
Yeah.
I knew you were probably going to say no, but...
But even, I think we say it's our industry, but I see it a lot in other industries.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, but in our industry, man, it's a lot like that. You'll get, yeah, man, I'll help you out. And then you go to ask for it, and then, oh, what? I can't do that. Or they say they're going to do something, and then they don't do it. That's a huge thing.
Or they just don't talk to you for like ever.
They give you the head nod.
Yeah, they're just like, now we just don't communicate because I'd rather not deal with this.
How about the bro thing at Supercross? Do you like that?
What's the bro thing?
The bro thing is like, you know, you got 30, 40-year-old grown-ass men, and they do like, the, hey, what's up? And they're like the dap down thing. Like, I don't do that. Like, I just want to shake a man's hand. Hey, how you doing?
The handshake's done, bro.
It's done?
The handshake is over.
So that I'm cooked on that.
COVID-19 ruined the handshake.
So it's fist bump?
Fist bump, elbow bump. Yeah, I'm a big handshake guy too.
Yeah.
You can tell a lot about a person by their handshake.
Absolutely. That's how I grew up.
Yeah.
My dad's like, you look a guy in the eyes and you fucking shake his hand like you mean it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you got that limp-wristed guy, you can tell a lot about
Bro,
that.
there's a writer.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
There's a writer. I won't say his name, but I'm pretty sure his wife gets run down by like a lot of people.
Okay.
And
Run down, what do you mean?
Like
Moto down?
like fucking run through.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yes, got
so
it.
like the wife gets
Copy.
the wife gets run through.
Yep.
He was a great rider, like unbelievable.
Current or old school, right?
Old school.
Got
Not and I won't even say what country.
Okay.
So I'm not even specifying a country.
Okay, got it. I'm thinking right now. Okay, good.
Yeah. You would never in a million years guess it. It's very niche. But won a lot of races, won some championships, but if you know this guy's personal life
Yeah.
and his racing career, and then you felt his handshake, you get it.
Okay. Yeah.
Limp as fuck.
Yeah. You can tell a lot about a person just first 30 seconds you meet them.
Yep.
If they're looking at you, if they shake your hand firm.
Too hard, too soft.
Yep. You just know a lot. That's how I was
Is it
raised.
wet?
Ooh.
You know?
Yeah, a little clammy.
Yeah, I get sweaty.
You're a sweaty palm guy?
I got sweaty hands. Yeah,
I'm not that guy.
Yeah, so like, people shake my hand. They're like, "Is he nervous?" Maybe that's the thing.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, that's gone, bro. It's done.
Okay, well, I didn't know that. I just
2020 ruined handshakes forever.
That's sad. So I like a nice handshake.
Yeah, yeah. The old I don't like that.
I make it awkward though. So like when people go to give me the fist bump, I just stick my hand out like this, and they finally just go, okay.
They just submit.
Yeah.
I do like the hug. You know,
I'm a hugger.
I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm more of a hugger.
But there's a lot of friends that don't do that. They always say, "Kris, you're too affectionate. Like you're lame, dude. Like I don't want to do that." I'm like, yeah, I don't care. And I think our family is pretty open, you know. And I think I've met some people like, "Oh, I didn't know you were you're just a normal family." I'm like, yeah, man. I'm not swinging around or anything. We're just open. Like I'm not scared to talk about certain situations in life or in our sport. It's like everyone does it. Or we're all the same, you know.
I agree.
So.
But the handshake's done, and it's sad.
I'll let it go then. I'll let it go.
What are we looking at?
Oh, we're doing a proper handshake.
Oh. Dude, the memes, this Chase Sexton memes. Oh, bro, this is a great. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely crushed. That's two dudes that fuck right there.
Yeah.
Could you believe that
Hey.
weekend?
It's insane. We're talking about JA and Webb, or we're just talking about in general with Chase.
I'm talking about that.
Look at here. Peace and love. Peace and love. Let me start out. Peace and love.
I'm with you.
Great human being.
Oh, fantastic.
Chase.
Fantastic.
Love the guy. I think I've met him. I've talked to him. He's one of those guys. You shake his hand. He talks to you. He's one of those guys. But what's going on? I made this comment, I don't know, years ago. Giselle Bundchen. Like, he Giselles me all the time. Giselle's great back in the day, I'm not saying maybe now, but when I made this up, Giselle walking down the runway, beautiful, unbelievable. Chase, that way on a motorcycle, beautiful, unbelievable. I still think better than looking on a bike than Jett.
Wash your fucking mouth out with soap.
But that's like Giselle walking down the aisle, squatting down, and taking a steamy shit right in front of you, right? But that's what Chase does at times. He'll wash the front end. He'll stall his bike. He'll run in the back of someone. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And like I said, no hate comms, peace and love. But like, he obviously knows what's going on. But the fan that really wants to love him and want to see him win, it's really hard. And people blame the Honda. Oh, he's washing the front end. It's the Honda.
We got enough data now.
Yeah, it's not the Honda. It's a Chase thing. This is what's going on. Does he need a TUE?
What's that?
To get some Adderall or something? Do we need something to make him concentrate more? What do we need? What do you think it is?
You have to just preface, right? The dude is a fucking legend.
Yes.
He's such a good dude.
Yes.
We went mountain biking with him. Great conversation. We chatted the entire time that we were riding. The guy's a fucking don. On a dirt bike, beast. And even like there was a window into his soul in a way when we were on the ride because it was like a group ride. He was doing a recovery, like a zone 2, hour and 40-minute zone 2 thing. We're all on e-bikes. He just didn't stop. Down the hill, up the hill, like when there was people that were like lagging, he got to the top, he rode down the hill, rode up the hill. Like just did it to the second. This dude was perfect. And that is a window into his soul as a human being. That's the level.
I see where you're going.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like when you are
trying to be perfect all the time.
When you're around him, what you're seeing is a guy, like I wish I could be like him in that.
Yep.
I leave stones unturned in my life.
Yep.
I leave money on the table in business. I miss training sessions. I'm a dick at times in relationship. Like there's a lot of those things where it's like I'm not perfect, right? That dude is being perfect.
Yeah.
That is so fucking hard to do in life. And it is something that I respect the absolute shit out of, So like that's that guy. That's what he's doing. But yeah, I mean, I just think on this side, it's very hard because like you have to criticize. You have to criticize when someone repeatedly shows like a certain behavior.
Yeah.
And you would hope, and I've been criticized in my life.
We all have, right?
And I try to then, if it's the truth, you take it on board.
Yep.
You use it.
Yep.
And you try and get better. But yeah, I mean, I think the win, even my wife said it the other day. She's like, that was all ego. Like, so either.
And he said it too. He wanted to win. He said he didn't want to get second that last.
Yeah.
You know?
And I said this, we did the pod with Ricky Stenhouse this week. So I'm like kind of repeating myself a bit. But it's like what you're wanting there, if that's genuine, right? So like if we just believe what he said, like I'm just a racer, I want to win. That could be a default comment that you say to like, it's a cope.
Yep.
To just
move it along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, oh yeah, I live by the sword, die by the sword, bro. But that also could just be a thing that he's saying because it's like, that's what he can say in that moment instead of just taking full accountability and saying, I fucked up, But even my wife's like, dude, he could have got third that moto. And he didn't, like, he still tried to get didn't, there's like winning the battle and winning the war.
Yeah.
He like lost the battle and the war.
Yeah.
And he could have won both by not doing anything extra.
Yeah.
So like just that decision making is like it seems like a ego move in a sense. But if I say to him, I'm like, all right, let's just not change anything about that. Let's just reframe the way you looked at that situation. So it's not a bike thing. It's not a ability thing. It's just a mental framing of the situation. So this is what I would say. I'd be like, hey, in that moment, you could have got second, got the win, left with a 5-point lead, huge swing in the championship, you're the fucking guy. Or you do that, you get third overall, you hemorrhage points, you give Coop a massive sniff. It's 3 weekends in a row of mistakes, like compounding these errors. And now you're sitting on the side of the track and look like you're crying over this, drop the bike. Like all of this just snowballs, right? The other perspective is you just visibly pull up. Just visibly go slow.
Yeah.
Do some little whips over.
It's like, hey, I got this.
And then you walk into the press conference, and my question would be, dude, you were just on a trail ride that last moto. And then you go, oh, yeah, I was easily the fastest guy, but I'm about to win the overall. I'm about to take the points lead. I'm fucking cruising, bro. That is like the gnarliest. So if what you're going for is like you want to assert dominance and be the man, and so you were trying to get the win, right? That's a whole other way to do it.
I don't think that would work.
You don't think so?
I'll raise you this. If he did that, like what you said, I'd backed it down, got the win, was cruising. Maybe it wasn't as pompous as that, but Coop hears that. He loves that. He uses that to piss him off and ride even better. So I think he's smart enough, and this is what I think his weakness is Chase thinks too much. I think he's a smart dude. And
he's definitely a smart dude.
And I think in our sport, you got to have a little stupidity.
Hollow head.
Yes.
Jett ain't thinking too much.
No. He's just kind of dirt to dirt. Like, hey, I'm just riding, he's autopilot.
Ripping.
Yes. So I think he thinks a little bit too much, maybe while he's riding. But if he did do that in a presser, I just think it fires Coop up and then.
Yeah, but he's better than Coop right now. On the bike.
Is he though?
But on the bike. Like in terms of
raw speed?
Speed-wise.
I agree.
Who's faster? No one.
No one.
So like I think again, if you're being honest, if you actually say, yeah, no, look at the lap times. Like I was easily the fastest dude, but I'm just not gonna I just wanted to win. It's 150 Gs, championship lead, happy days.
Yeah.
Like even like that's the chase that Coop thinks he's gonna get for the rest of the year now.
Right.
So I think you put more doubt in Coop's mind by not being the guy that you expect.
The good news is it wasn't detrimental in the sense of the whole series. He's 5 points down.
Yeah.
I think us, when we analyze these things, all these shows that we see and we watch, I don't think these racers, when they show up to the next week, I don't even think he thinks about it, honestly. I really don't think they even think about last week. Hey, I'm here. It's a new race. Sure, I did a lot of dumb shit last week that they're still talking about, but I don't care. I'm here. It's new. I'm not going to do that. And let's say he does it again. The next week, he doesn't give a shit. I mean, look how gnarly they are when they almost die during a race, and they're right back in it. Yeah. You're like, oh my God.
Bro, how's Cole Davies through the whoops? Did you see that one?
Dude.
And then Deegan after him.
How did Deegan save that?
Oh my God. And they just keep going.
Speaking of Cole, like, how of a 180 is his personality this year compared to last year? Like, I know he's growing, but like last year I was pretty hard. I'm like, dude, this kid's a robot. Like, oh boy, there's nothing going on the interview, nothing. He has a personality now. He's speaking. I was like, dude, awesome. Nice to see. It's nice to see that from a young kid,
Yeah, he is actually cool as fuck.
Yeah. I've never met him.
Yeah. Oh, what race are you going to be at next?
I'm going to go to New York.
I'll be at New York.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that we all meet.
Yeah.
Because he's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a few conversations with him at the start of the year about the vibe and the personality, and the advice was be yourself.
Okay.
It's like, just don't try and be anyone.
Just do what you do.
Just literally, you're as cuzzy bro as it gets. Like, just straight NZ. Dry, funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Be that guy.
Yeah, because last year I think he maybe was just nervous or something.
Well,
he just didn't have a lot to say, right?
Well, and didn't have his future secured.
Right.
Didn't really know. Like, dude, it's so intimidating for a kid to be put on that stage. Like, he's just been grinding in a little town in New Zealand for year after year after year after year.
Yeah.
Just looking at America in Ben Townley's backyard supercross track. Drills.
What a guy to have in your corner, though.
Man. And Townley speaks, I don't know if you've heard me say it, but like he literally has said, this was 3-4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, when he's just on a 125, riding Supercross on a 125. Ben's like, I've never in my life seen a kid that you can tell to do something and then they can just do it.
Like process it and then...
Just, he comes in, hey, you need to do this, this, and this. Yeah, does it.
Wow.
He's like, it's unbelievable.
I mean, we've been talking about a lot, and then obviously the shows have, but like watching him ride, it's honestly mind-blowing how much... Aiden and I have talked about it. He was in Futures 2 years ago, and I saw him. And I'm like, eh. But I heard like, oh, he's from there. I'm like, eh, I don't really see anything. The next year, even last year, I was like, yeah, sure, he's winning, but I don't really see anything. This year, I was like, holy shit.
Well, all the Futures years, I think the first year, what did he get, like 4th or 5th? Something like that. And I called Ben after it. And I was like, dude, stoked for Cole. Like, I hadn't even met him at that point, you know, but just because of how close I am with BT, literally every time I call him, he's like driving home from the track with the kid or, you know, and he's like, mate, he rode fucking terrible. That was dog shit, pathetic, like just
Really?
fully just couldn't have been more shit. He's like, yeah, that guy that wasn't even the same guy. So I kind of like always had it in the back of my mind.
The precedent was high then. Early.
Yeah, like he's just said that he should be smoking these dudes if he rides like how he does at home. So it obviously just took him a while.
And that's impressive because just what you said, that recipe, I'm just grinding away. I'm in a little cubby hole and I'm just doing drills. How many kids do that? Almost all of them. They're at a facility or they're at, just grinding away. If I do the work, I'm going to be this good. You can do all the work and do everything right and still not be that good.
Well, I wonder though, like, to me, one of the coolest things about Cole, obviously he had like very unique circumstances of getting trained by Ben Townley. Ben Townley's the most underrated coach on planet Earth, right? People just fully don't even know that he's like the best coach in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know who else there would be for riding that could coach kids better than him. Did you ever watch the video of me doing the coaching thing with him?
No.
Best I ever rode it in my life,
really?
Bro. It was fucking crazy. One day all went to shit. But like what he got me to do in one day was fucking mental, right? So you've got this kid that's being trained by the secret best coach on planet Earth, and he's just got a Supercross track in the backyard, making him ride a 125 on Supercross and just doing like all the things, just drills after drills after drills. Isn't it crazy that you can be so far removed, like literally at the bottom of the earth by yourself, basically, with one dude and one track, and get fundamentally as sound as Cole Davies?
Yeah.
I think it's, like, again, very hard recipe to follow, but like, hasn't been a kid like that in a very long time.
No.
You've had Deegan that had every investment possible, which you're going to do if you've got the ability to do that, right? But yeah, like I just don't know if there's been a kid that's come from obscurity the way that Cole Davies has.
Only other guy that I can think of just recently right now is Julien. Because I feel like Julien, because Aiden raced against Julien growing up. I mean, she was fast sometimes. Didn't look great on the bike. I knew he had some skill. And then got with Davey. And just, I mean, that one... his first, Futures race, and he has a faster time than Deegan. We were there going, damn, where did that come from?
It is crazy, eh?
Yeah, I think it was on your show that he said, hey, man, I wasn't even planning on, I was up in Matthes or something.
He was drinking.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. I'm like, that's insane.
Just like partying in Havasu.
So that's what makes me think, like everyone has these, okay, we're going to do this, on the bike drills, off the bike drills, you're going to eat like this. People are underestimating what you have on the inside, your DNA, your chemical makeup. You have to have something in there, first and foremost, that piece, and then it grows from there. You just can't do all of the outside work and not have that piece inside. I think some guys are born with that piece inside of them. And then it just grows from there, because then it's like wildfire. It takes off. Once you have it and you see it, it's like, boom.
And are you thinking like talent or internal, like your mentality and mindset?
I think it's all of that. I think it's talent. Like it's in there, right?
Yeah.
You're born with that.
Yeah, like I don't have that.
Same.
Never, like, and I fully understand. There's no amount of training that could get me ready to race a Supercross race.
I'm the same way. Like, as good as I am, I wasn't going to be a professional racer. It just wasn't going to happen. But these kids, some of them haven't. I think Davies has it, and I think Julien has it. And those are the only two that I can think of recently that I've seen that was like, and all of a sudden, bam. Because they found it, you know?
Yeah, and there's something just about the mentality too, you know? Like, even for Julien, like, I think he's probably, I reckon he has to go east. Like, I reckon he has to ride more of the...
You can see that, right?
Yeah.
When he goes to softer tracks.
Yeah. So that's probably... But that's a time thing. That wouldn't be like a thing that he can't do, right? But, like, you can see where his results are better / worse, you know? And... But, yeah, I just, like, even his mentality, right? Like, to get the red plate, second season... deal with having Deegan
up his ass all the time,
like mentally, and he's just sitting here doing the podcast, like,
yeah, man, I was drinking, I was a mammoth,
fucking legend.
I saw that clip and I'm like, no shit, that's impressive, and I like that he admitted it. I was like, that's awesome.
But that's like a mentality thing, you know, and like, I mean, that's one of the hardest things that you can teach. But maybe, right? So like, you've got Julien and you've got Cole. So maybe is there an element of they've actually lived a fucking life?
Maybe on the Cole, because Cole's maybe wasn't doing that, but Julien maybe.
But I mean, not, and I don't just mean like the partying thing, but I mean like, dude, just a normal kid going to school in New Zealand, doing the thing, you know, racing. His dad's got a business. Like, it's not like, even yesterday I'm at Glen Helen and there's just like kids.
Oh, yeah.
On a Thursday.
With 18 trainers on the side of the fucking
track.
And
then there's like, they got Surons and they got fucking girls hanging around them and they got this. And it's just like,
hey, man.
Bro, you're like, don't live in the fucking real world. Like, the life you're living is pre-fucking Truman Show dirt bike. You know?
Truman Show. That's great. Truman Show.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, I know what you mean.
And it's just like this whole world, and it's like they're fucking Snapchatting, and they're this, and they're that, and this kid knows this, and the sister.
Yeah.
That ain't real, dude.
No. I guess you're right. You're right. I mean, that's fair. For me, like, you need to live a little bit and remove yourself a little bit at times to kind of give you a taste of what it's like, right? And then that reinvents you a little bit more on the motorcycle. You're like, I got a little hunger now. Like, I was away from it. And that's what I tell him. Like, I go, hey, you're hurt. Get the fuck away from it for a little while. Don't watch it on TV. Like,
go work in a fucking truck yard.
I made him go get a job.
Where'd you work?
I made him go answer phones at Twisted Development. I go, hey,
there you go.
You answer phones, deal with the public. See how that treats you.
Yeah.
Listen to some of that shit for a while.
Bro, I had fucking, not that I've lived the perfect life, but like, geez, my first job out of school was in a fucking brick factory.
Yeah.
I would get there at 3 in the afternoon.
Yep.
And my job was to stand on a fucking production line, right? There's a machine that cubed the bricks. So you have these house bricks, 2001s they're called, and they go into this cuber. Next to you, this thing is just fucking put a brick in, it changes, and it's like builds this Rubik's Cube, right? And if any of the bricks come out, I'd have to look at them to make sure there wasn't any defects. Crack in there, fucking pick it up, throw it over the conveyor belt into a skip bin. And then next one comes down.
How old were you?
17.
Okay.
Then I'd have to, as soon as the last one was coming out, there'd be a gap in the thing. So I'd get on a forklift and I'd fucking get that out. I'd drive it over there, drop it down, race back because of the production belt, load the pallet up. Just fucking did that for 6 months. 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I finished at 3 a.m. And at 1 a.m. or like 1:30 when it all stopped, I had to put on a fucking hazmat suit with a gas mask, get a massive jackhammer, stop the cement mixer, and it'd dry. All the cement would dry inside the mixer. Get it all out. And just clean out a fucking cement mixer at 3 a.m. at 17 years old. I was making like $700 a week. I'd be fucked, completely fucked. I'd go home. I'd sleep until lunchtime. I'd make myself food, and I'd go back to that fucking brick factory.
I have no life.
And I got fired because I punched a dude off a forklift.
Oh.
So then
What did he say to you? What did he do?
Said some shit about my mum.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah, so I just fucking knocked him out.
Perfect.
You're
out of here, dude.
They were like, sorry, bro, you got to go. But I was like, I fucking hate this job anyway. Next job was mowing the highway, like weed whacking the fucking highway in our city.
No shit.
Builds character.
That's what I was about to say. When you do these other things, and same way, like for me, I was down here in Long Beach, grinding slag off welds, hanging up on these, getting up at 4 a.m., coming home at 7 p.m., going back to sleep. And I'm like, oh, this isn't it. I'm riding and all the other shit's easy, right?
Yeah.
So I think you need a little bit of taste. I think it works for some, and then for some it doesn't. Like, I think most of these kids now, and I got to say this in the right way because it's going to sound bad because you're going to clip this and make me sound like an asshole. But like,
no, he will. I won't.
I'm not going to say all these kids, but a lot of these kids now are soft. Just mentally, they break down. You can't say certain things that just mentally break. I see it. I'm at these amateur races, and I see these kids just mentally break all the time, and the parents let it happen. So it's not even the kids' fault.
100%.
I just think it's the way they grow up and what they can get away with their parents is how soft they are. And I didn't mean soft as in when it goes bad, they crumble. I'm not saying they're just whiny bitches, but like if it doesn't go right, they're lost. They don't know what to do. And there's not enough hardships in their life. And I tread that water with Aiden because compared to other kids, he has it fucking good. But I also weave in there like, hey man, this isn't real life, brother. If I wasn't in the street, you'd have one bike, I'd have one bike, and we'd be flipping tires and we'd be doing the same shit I did growing up because this is how it is. And you communicate all that shit to him. Hey, life's hard. Sorry, man, I can't do anything for you. Like, you're going to have to pull yourself out of that your own. Like, I don't see enough of that kind of parenting within the motocross community because there's just a lot of soft kids out there.
Yeah, but you're right about what you're saying too. Like, there's a lot of soft parents.
Absolutely.
In terms of not even the way that they treat their kids, but just soft people in general.
Or just let the kids run the parents. I'll listen to some of these kids just eavesdropping on the line or just how they interact, how they speak to their mom and dad. Dude, I would have been fucking laid out. I'm like, wow. I look over at Aiden. He's like, yeah, you have to kick my ass. I go, yep. Don't be doing that shit. And there's just not enough of that. I'm not saying everyone has to lay hands on their kids. Like, I get it.
Nah, nah.
But like, you got to do something. You can't just let them run wild because when they're out of the house or their motocross career doesn't go, what do they have? There's no backbone.
That's the problem too. And like, I even see this in people I know where they've had this golden run through life. And there's probably people even listening to this that can relate in a way to where it's like, they just kind of cruise through life and it's like nothing's ever been that hard. They've never really had any crazy loss or they've never had any like real fucked up shit happen to them. And then they get to like 30, 33, 35, a chick breaks up with them. I know some people, bro.
Yes.
You might have seen this.
Oh, man.
I've got friends and some people where like one chick breaks up with them, ruin their life.
Done.
Fucking done.
For a while.
Bro, never recovered.
Really?
I know some people, it's just never fucking, all chicks suck after that. Fucking every chick's out to get you. Blah, blah, blah. The world is the problem.
Yes.
And you just become this sad, salty victim.
Yes.
And it's just like, that's because you never got exposed to hard shit in your life. You never had real loss. You never had real hardships. And it's the ultimate conundrum for a parent, I'm sure. And I'm speaking as a person that doesn't have kids, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's very hard to be hard on your kids.
Yes. I deal with that. Like, for me, I want to give Aiden everything I didn't have. And every parent's, I would say for the most part,
100%.
like that, right?
Yeah.
And he does have more than I have. And my wife is a little bit more lenient on him than me. And then she gets on me a little bit when I'm in his ass a little bit. But like, for me, 100% correct. If you haven't had a hardship, you don't know how to rebound from that. There was two things in my life. One, I lost my mom because I was really close with. And then when Heather left me at one point because I was an asshole, hey, here's divorce papers, I'm out. Those two things inside of me felt the same, like death, right?
It's an ego death, bro.
Yes. I had to go and I curled up like a fucking fetus for 2 weeks in bed. Like I was jacked up. Then you pull yourself out of that and then you figure it out.
Why though?
That's the, why? I think for me, why do I pull myself? Because what else am I going to do? Am I going to live like this for the rest of my life or am I going to go live?
Well, who else was going to do it for you?
Exactly. No one.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
So that's where I think, then this is to go back to the parents, right? Well, who's going to pull it out? Who's going to pull him out of the problem? Mum and dad.
Yeah.
Mum and dad will bail him out, you know? So that's where I think that parenting comes in. And I know for me in my life, like we just didn't come from money.
Yeah.
My parents have helped me out at times with, you know, $500 here and $1,000 there. And I had to buy every car. I had to fix all of my fuck ups.
Yep.
When my warehouse burned down,
Yep.
I didn't get any money. Like all the way through life. And I went through my life knowing nobody was coming to save me. It was just me. And now with a wife, she definitely doesn't come from money.
Yeah.
She doesn't have family. Like it's all on me. And I think that that's the thing. And that would have been the same for you. Who's coming to save you?
Yeah.
When Heather gives you the divorce papers.
Yeah, nobody.
Or your mum passes away. Who's coming to save you?
Yeah.
And I think that that's there. It's like, to me, that's the people that really make it in life is the ones that they just don't have someone bail them out. They don't have that backup plan.
Two champions, one of the greatest champions we've had in our sport that I look at that's what I do. I look at the rider and then I try to look behind them and see who the parents are. I kind of do this. This is what I've known to do for a while. I look at McGrath. Dad, parents. Dad didn't fuck around. MC's dad, he didn't baby him. RC's dad, mom did not baby him.
Well, and there was no backup plan for them.
Right.
Like, I never knew Ricky lived in a fucking trailer for 2 years.
Yeah. Here's the thing, like all these parents that you see now, they're in motorhomes or living at these facilities. That's I'm not talking about that, but how do you parent if you're doing that? And that just same thing. MC's dad, parents, they put everything into him, but they also were parenting. RC's parents, they put everything into him. They were going to every single race, doing all these things, but they didn't fuck around. This is what we're doing. You want this? There's consequences. You don't do good? I just don't think the consequences are there anymore as much as it used to be, at least from what I've seen. Those two champions are some of the best in our sport, and they come from solid families. And I think we may be missing some of that in our future a little bit.
Yeah, and again, I just don't think that that's isolated to motocross.
No, it's just what the world we live in, right?
And that's in our thing.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just I fully grapple with it and think about it all the time. And it's funny, like even we've got Griff staying with me now and he's young and I'm like doing all the shit and saying all the shit that my dad used to say to me, but like without any of the guilt.
Yeah.
But it's just like, because I had a guy that was like very, very hard on me. I was the oldest. I was the one that got...
How's your relationship with him now?
Yeah, good.
Good.
Yeah. But when I was a teenager, I was not good. But I was just not in a good place as a kid.
Well, I think as teenagers, I was the same with my dad. I did dumb shit to my dad. I lied to my parents a lot back in the day just because I didn't want to get in trouble. And I think that hurt my dad. Well, it did. And I didn't. When you're a teenager, like, whatever, dude. Like, And we didn't have the greatest relationship. But now our relationship is so good because I have a kid.
Yeah.
And now he looks at me and goes, ha, remember that shit? And I go, no. He's like, I do.
Yeah.
You fucked up. Aiden did the same thing. Now what? How do you feel? And I'm like, I have no comeback. You're right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and same, like, even with Griff, it's like he's young and doing his thing, and I'm like, the shit I'm saying is like word for word what my dad said to me when I was like a teenager, and I hated it.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, thanks, bro. But even like we had a rule because we didn't have much money, and I had to get 50% money of everything I bought if I wanted my parents' help. My first dirt bike.
Half.
My first mountain bike was $1,500. I saved up $750 to get it.
Yep.
And this was one of the most formative things in my life. Still think about it to this day. I was working at a grocery store. I was working at a video shop. And I was mowing lawns and washing cars in our neighborhood.
That's awesome.
At like 14, right?
Yeah.
And I took my dad $750. One Saturday morning, he's reading the paper. There was a bike that I wanted to go buy, knew where it was. Just today was the day. And I took my dad the $750, and he was fucking rattled because he didn't have $750.
Oh, shit. You did the part. He didn't have it for you. Damn.
So my dad, to my dad's credit, he went to my grandparents' house. We made 2 stops. We made a stop at my mum's place.
Mm-hmm.
She gave us a bit of money. Then we made a stop at my dad's parents' place. And they gave us a bit of money. And he took me and he got me the fucking bike.
Sounds like a man of his word.
But it rattled him, dude. And like I could see that. And I was young. And it fucked me up. Like I almost didn't want to get it in the end.
Yeah.
And dude, I just worked my ass off from a kid.
Yeah.
And I bought my next dirt bike. Then I'd buy a good deal. I'd clean it up. I'd get some parts off it. I'd sell it. I'd make a bit of money. Like it was just that.
That was ingrained in you.
Dude, that gave me everything in my life. And imagine if he didn't do that for me. You know what I mean? Like imagine if he didn't keep my word. Like that was one of the biggest lessons I ever learned in my life.
At what age did you think, or do you think you figured it out? Like, just like what you said, right? Man, I am the way I am because of how I was raised.
I always had that in my mind.
Okay.
From that.
Because it took me, late 20s, early 30s to really be like, yep, noted, understood, got it.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Like everything that I was in trouble for back in the day, or hey, you're not racing because this, or example, like we would go to the races. Oh, I forgot my boots. Instead of my dad trying to search for boots for me, guess what?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
We're fucking out.
Yeah.
Crying all the way back home. Hey, man, it's life. You forget something, I'm not going to help you do it. Never forgot my boots again. You know?
100%.
So, like, it took me a long time to all these things that he was hard on me to figure out, like, that is what's keeping me alive and to be a good human being. And then that, just like you said, everything flows from that flows into your business, and people see how you are and they want to be around that, and it just kind of grows from there. It's crazy how life works. And I know this is kind of a cool show for me is because it's more about dirt bikes. It's about life and things. And I like to talk about that, to figure yourself out. And when someone else figures their shit out, I like to listen. I'm like, how was your journey? Like, what's it like? And then when you think you have it figured out.
Well, yeah, you're always learning. Like you have to, at least for me, like I always just knew I didn't have my shit together. And I thought I did. I was always, I've been the opposite. I'm almost I've always been trying to learn different things about myself and reading a lot of psychology. And because I always just figured that I was like pretty fucked up as a kid because I was just in so much trouble.
Yeah.
Like I just fucking lived in trouble. I loved getting in fights. I loved getting kicked out of school. Like I was the fucking worst, dude. A nightmare, bro. So like I always was like.
You always were working on yourself, I guess, then.
Because I felt like I had to. I felt like I was so bad at the start and I was like trying to figure out how to get better, you know. But I look at those things and that's why my dad was hard on me, because I was a fucking nightmare to deal with. Like I look back and if my kid was the way that I was in school, my kid will not go to school.
Yeah.
Too traumatic.
Yeah.
Way too much going on.
Like
I would not want my kid to go through that.
Relating this, like the motorcycle community now, to what you just said, like you said you had all these jobs. If a kid wanted to be a professional in this day and age, that wouldn't happen. It can't. So I guess that's kind of what I'm saying is like, I understand you got to put everything in your kid and maybe go to homeschool and do these things. I'm not saying the kids got to get a job and do all these things and he'll learn and he'll be a great rider. I think you have to dedicate you, the family, everything to this. But also, when you're doing that, you can't be soft to your kids. You got to make them understand hey, we're here for you. We're doing this for you. And maybe not put the pressure on them so much, but like, hey, man, this is what you wanted. Anytime you don't want to do this, you let us know.
All right, so that's the problem, right?
Yes.
You know what would happen if parents were like that?
What?
The kids wouldn't do it. So what you're describing, right?
Yeah.
Is like I got to where I am in life because of me.
Mm-hmm.
Not because of my parents, not because of my starting, like not because I got there through lessons and things that they taught me, but like I got here because this is where I was going to be. And this is my, call it talent, like whatever, right? My unique upbringing. But for my whole life, I wanted a better life for myself. And
yeah, you got off your own ass and did it.
I did it, right?
Right.
And so you look at a guy like Ricky Carmichael, perfect example. You've heard of him?
No, much about him.
But there's a guy living in a trailer with his parents. His dad got fired from his job and he realizes what he's going to have to do to make it. If he had to dig his own jumps with a shovel, probably would have done it.
Yeah.
If he had to build his own bikes, would have. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think the problem is with these like kids that you're talking about. Are they actually going to do it if the parent isn't there to pick up the pieces? And the answer is probably no for a lot of those kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that the ones that do make it and the people that do make it in life, like I always say, this is one thing I've kind of like, one of my little learnings, you get what you want in life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You might not think you do.
Right.
I want a house. I want a nice car. I want this. I want to be a pro motocross rider. I want this. No, you want exactly what you have.
Yeah.
Where you're at right now, you are where you want to be.
You've earned where you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether you fucking think that is true or not.
Yeah.
And I was a guy a lot of times in my life where I was like, I want to do this and I want to be that and no, you don't, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be lazy. You want to smoke weed every day. You want to chase girls. You want to party. That's what you actually want.
Right.
Because that's what you're getting.
Yeah. Because the actions speak that, right?
And like what I want now, I'm getting.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people, they take a long time, if ever. Like if you're overweight,
right,
you want to be fat.
Yep.
Simple.
It seems simple, but we don't see it a lot, right?
No, because that's like the hardest thing to admit to yourself is I am exactly where I want to be.
Yeah.
If you've got a shit relationship with your wife, you want a shit relationship with your wife.
Right.
If you've got a shit relationship with your kids, you want that. If you hate your job, you want to hate your job. Like you are where you're supposed to be because you do the same thing every day to get you where you are.
And I think that's mostly correct. I think there's exceptions to every rule, right? Like there's some guys that you're just fucked. Like no matter what you do, you just get shit on. You know, that happens as well. You know, but like in our world with parenting and all these, this is what I really see when I go to these amateur races. Like there's a lot of quality parenting, but I see more of the other side than I see the quality. And I'm like, man, what happens to this little Johnny when it's just done? Is he going to be okay? That I just think about that, you know, and going these races with him, I just see that more and more. And that's what I've been trying to like understand. And the way our direction of our sport is going is everything is going to be around racing. And I see these other guys when I'm at Glen Helen, sometimes they talk, I just like to ride. And they're 16. I don't want to be a professional motocrosser. At least in Southern California, I see this. And that's rare. And I'm like, damn, this kid's what we call a soul rider. He's just a soul rider.
Yeah,
I like that kid. He doesn't give a fuck. He just wants to ride and have fun. And he's 16. He doesn't want to be a professional, but he just loves to do it. And I'm like, I'm drawn to those kind of kids because it's more real for me, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But it just sucks for our sport because it's so hard to make money. And when I listen to the show, we're on the show with Steve, it's like the privateer thing. Like you're saying, fuck the privateers, right? Get them out. But like these guys are grinding. They still want to do these things. They're not making dick. And we want to, you know, get rid of them and the red flags and all these caution flags and rocks and splitting them. And it's like, oh, it's this guy's fault. It's not their fault. It's just like you got to be aware of your surroundings. And there's just not enough of the brain power when they grow up learning all these things, being at facilities or not having the life experience. And that's where I think it comes in. Like that's where it kicks in, being self-aware. And there's just not enough of that.
In 2022, Eli Tomac made the switch to Yamaha and found instant success on their class-leading YZ450F. Eli Tomac had 3 reasons for making the switch. He wanted power, and the Yamaha has the strongest and most tunable motor in the class. He wanted KYB suspension, and the YZ450F comes stock with his preferred KYB system. And finally, he wanted a cable clutch. Yamaha took the championship-winning YZ450F and made it even better. More powerful, lighter, slimmer, with enhanced overall stability and more agility than ever before. The 2025 YZ450F is available now in both Yamaha Blue, or to really look like Eli Tomac, it's also available in the Monster Energy Edition. The pinnacle of off-road 4-stroke performance wrapped in iconic Yamaha racing livery. Head to YamahaMotorsports.com or into your local dealer now. I'm glad you're back here, though. You know you're our GOAT.
No, what's that mean? I mean, I know what GOAT is, but what? Like, what
you're our GOAT.
Why?
Biggest YouTube view.
What?
Yeah, bro.
How?
Fucking cheating in Supercross.
Oh, there you go. That's why. Okay.
we needed you back, man. We fell off.
You're downhill. Everything's downhill from there.
No, we fell off. We needed you back.
Okay, great. Yeah, awesome.
January was good, but then we fell off. So we were like, who do we get?
You had some good guests on recently. Eli was sick. I watched that. That was nice.
Actually watch that
I watched RC. So I work a little bit with RC with Triumph. So that was Ivan.
Yeah.
Had Ivan on here at one time. That was nice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been going all right. Popular. Here we go. 2.8 million views.
Wow.
Look at it. You're our GOAT.
Jeez. Look at that lump of shit right there on the screen.
What are you talking about? You got, mate, you're fucking living. Got the smoke show misses.
I don't know how that happened,
every day.
You got to be funny if you're going to be ugly. That's what the thing is. Make them laugh.
Yeah.
Because I feel sorry for the people who want to watch this. You know, just listen to it. I think it's better.
Hey, I'm no oil painting either, mate. All right.
Dude, you're a good looking human being. You're fine.
Go and get out of town.
Nah,
but no, we needed you back. You're the GOAT.
Well,
did you know that?
I did not know that.
2.8 million views, bro.
It's because of cheating.
I know. It's just a good story.
I don't have any good stories this time. Might not get you.
I don't know. The Aiden clean out was pretty good. I feel
you could label that the right way. Like,
yeah, Griff will cook on that.
Son kills dad.
Yeah.
In motorcycle accident or something like that.
Yeah. That we can cook on that. What should I do to my new 2025 YZ450F Monster Energy Edition?
Is this a Yamaha commercial or is this a straight
I just
up?
need to know because I'm trying to get my riding life back.
Yeah, we got to get you motivated again. Okay, we're gonna get you.
Maybe
motivated.
I just need to come to Atlanta, to Georgia.
You got a place now. You maybe come to the Triumph facility, hang out a little bit.
Like that, eh?
Yeah. 25 YZ. So I've been vocal about this, and I've told Travis Preston and these guys. I go 22 YZ was a great bike. Loved it. Planted. I'm sure Eli loved it. Right. 23, a little bit stiffer, cornered better. So they've made a couple changes since then, linkage and some front engine mounts. But I still feel like it's a lot of bike for one. It's fucking fast. And when Eli said, stock bikes, I was like, wow, that's a man right there. Because I can't fucking handle a stock YZ450.
But you know what? Can I just stop you there?
Yeah.
It's too much, but fuck, it's so fun.
Exactly.
It's like very addictively fun just to be able to, like Glen Helen, for
I
example.
could relate this into like a sexual term, which would relate my brain better.
Just like a whole lot of titty, is that what you're saying?
No,
like maybe it's too much titty.
It's like one of those, like you have this chick and she is
a nightmare. She's just an absolute nutcase.
In bed, it's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
That's the Yamaha.
That's the best thing ever.
That's
Yamaha. The best analogy.
Like when I ride it, I'm like, this is awesome. And then I started getting a little bit fatigued. I'm like, dude, she's a lot to hang with right now. It's a lot. I need to turn her down a little bit. So for you just need to get some races. That'll calm that chassis down.
The FCP race cups.
Some race cups are nice because it's a good thing that he's actually doing that. You don't have to mess with the rigidity of the bike through clamps because it's pretty rigid feeling on the track anyway.
Yeah, the stock clamps feel good.
Yeah, I wouldn't screw with the stock because a lot of guys, the bling, right? They want to put clamps on it, but then it screws up the rigidity. It gets a stiffer feeling, and then I'm out. So races will help that. And then, past that, it's kind of if you want to smooth out the power a little bit. Akrapovic, I will say this. The most expensive muffler anybody can buy, but it's the best built muffler for the money. You can run that thing 40 hours. You don't have to pack it. It smooths out that Yamaha power a little bit, and then you can use the power tuner, put one of my maps in, and it'll just kind of make it easier to ride. It's still a lot of bike, but flywheel weight helps. Heavier.
Yeah.
People think, I'm going to get more engine braking. It actually does the opposite. It actually kind of helps the engine braking, doesn't put a lot of load to that front end. So for me, flywheel weight, races, a muffler, and a map kind of calms that sucker down. That's what I would do to start out with.
And your front brake mod.
And the front brake, the old Dubox.
Dubox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not mine. I can't claim it.
Unreal, dude. How good that is.
When he told me, he's told me for years, and I sat on it, never used it. Finally, I rode one of his bikes, and I'm like, fuck, that thing is nice. I'm going to do that.
I tried to get Ulrich to ride mine yesterday with it.
He didn't do it?
He's like, it was a bit late. It was blown out. But I was like, dude, it's really good. It's crazy. Like, Yamaha could make that change pretty easy.
Yeah, the Japanese, it's tough to get them to make changes, you know?
The front brake's the only thing I don't like about the bike, though.
Yeah.
Especially just coming from KTM.
It's exciting. Like, when you just hop on it and ride, you're like, woo, this is nice. It has more excitement than any other motorcycle there is.
It's like, I've said it a few times, but it's like owning a dragon when you only need a horse.
That's exactly right. It's a typical American bike. Like, if you're an American, you love this. It's more than you can handle, but you want it anyway.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. It's funny. I was thinking about it because so I got a 250.
Yeah.
I got 250 Yamaha.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I got
two-stroke or F?
Both.
Oh.
I've got the two-stroke Deegan build, but that bike's parked. I don't think I'll ever ride that bike again. Then I just got a 250F.
Okay.
Which I haven't even ridden it yet.
Maybe that will get you excited to ride.
I'm going to go to fucking town on that thing, I think.
That will get you excited to ride, I think.
You reckon?
Either the two-stroke, I'm just not a huge two-stroke guy. Okay, so 250F, built, second injector, some snap. Try not to make it so fucking loud that you bleed out of your ears. But I have one with just a second injector, an ECU, a muffler, and some fuel.
Rips.
So fun to ride.
What gearing do you run on it, stock?
1350 is what stock. I go back to like a 49 because when you get some more power, you can actually pull second gear longer.
I was going to say, are you just staying in second more? Because it's not, it wouldn't be like a third.
Because you're increasing your top end, so you can actually shift later. So there's two types of laziness in the world of riding. You can be lazy in second if it pulls it farther, or you can be lazy in third if it's luggable.
Yep.
And it's hard to get a third gear lazy 250F.
Yep.
So being lazy in second gear is more feasible, and that's what that second injector and that ECU does.
Same cups?
Yeah, I would just use all that. All the chassis should be the same between the 450 and 250.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the bike that I think... So the 450 is going to be the Deegan build.
Okay.
So that's going to be a bit of a...
Is that like a build-off?
Yeah. Did you not see our build-off last
I saw 252 strokes.
Yeah, we did the build-off.
Yeah. But you said 450.
Yeah, so then this year, we're doing the 450.
Got it.
So that's going to be our Deegan build, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of have to go to town on that one. But I think that, because the 250F is my bike, doesn't have to go back. So I'm like...
I think for how much you ride, it's not too much bike for you. You can actually ride a long time, and the track will feel better on the 250F versus the 450.
Yeah.
And just like we talked about earlier, you can think less. You don't have to think so much on the 250.
The only thing I don't like about 250s, and again, it's been a very long time since I owned a 250, like very, very long time. But it just makes me feel like I have to ride it faster. Yeah. A lot more revving, a lot more shifting. It just makes me feel like I'm doing the most, you know?
Have you rode a built one?
No, I've never had a built one.
Okay, so this is what 350 lover brother over there. Get that 350 vibes. The church. It gives you that vibe, like
okay. That's what
longer gears, revs far, but yet has torque where you can fuck up and not be so pissed off at yourself out of a corner. So a nice built running 250 gives you that 350 feel.
Okay.
So
I think that's what I'm chasing. Because I tell you what, got the Gas 350, fucking still love it. It's kind of me bike that I still go and grab the most.
If only someone would make a 350 besides the Austrians. If only someone would do it. We don't need to go over the if Yamaha built a 350 thing because we did that.
We got the views.
Yeah, we got that.
We
covered that.
got the views. Go back and watch that clip
Yeah.
if you.
But if Austria, which they might put some spring forks on their bikes soon. I feel like.
I thought they were going to.
Well, it's going that direction. The off-road bikes have some.
Well, I wonder what the Austrian brand's going to do in general. I heard they got bought, or like they got the investment that they needed.
Yes.
But I just that
I would assume one brand is going to go away. That's what I think.
I think Gas is done for sure.
I think Gas will go away, and I think Husqvarna will probably limit their CC sizes that they're going to push out, and then KTM will still be there. That's what I think, which is fine for me. Like, I don't need 3 KTMs.
No.
I know they don't like that. They hate that. If I say that in any of my videos, they do not like that. But I mean, it is what it is.
Call spade a spade.
Yeah, exactly. There's minute differences, but yeah, I don't need 3 of them.
But yeah, the old 350 is still the bike. And it's funny.
I got a build coming.
Do ya?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I'm excited.
I've never done a 350 build.
Oh, what?
No.
How can you even consider yourself?
Oh, no, I have. Yeah, bro, my Aussie bike. I'm just not here, I guess.
Okay.
No, my Aussie.
What year was that?
Show him the vid, bro. Thing was a fucking animal.
What year was
it? It was a 2019.
Okay, so still good.
2020. It was one.
Because back in the 2012, 13, that thing was a piece of shit.
Which one?
The early 350s. It wasn't great.
Yeah, no, but dude, this one.
Nice.
Play the sound when Sleater's riding it, because this was.
What did Mike think of it? You like it?
Yeah, he liked it. Go a bit more. Yeah, this section here.
What track is this? That looks nice.
This was a good day at our local track in Australia. Listen to this thing. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Meaty.
Really love this bike.
I'm telling you, man, like, and I guess I don't want to sound like a hypocrite because, Keefer, you don't even race the 350. Yeah, you're right. I don't. And I should. I have no comeback for that. But, again, you're looking to have fun and have as much power as you need. That's it.
There's one turn on the vet track at Parla. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like a big just left-hand bowl turn. Mm-hmm. You know the one?
Yeah.
And then you got like a couple little jumps.
Yep.
That turn to me is like the reason why you own a 350. I'm in third gear. Mm-hmm. I hold the throttle fucking wide open and just go and just feed the clutch out. And it's like, I'm fine. I honestly can't do that on a 450.
Yeah.
It's way too much. And it's just like, it's not pulling my arms out. It's not revving. It's just like this. I just feel like I'm touching the ground.
It's connected
with my throttle.
Yeah.
You know, and I know exactly what it's going to do.
Yeah.
And I can just feed the motherfucker.
Yeah. I have a build coming. I did it with Chad from XPR. He's the engine. We got some ECU work going, and I cannot wait.
Is it a Kato?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm afraid once I get that bike back, I'm not going to be touching another bike for a bit.
What do you ride the most now? I feel like you've been riding the Triumph.
I've been riding the Triumph the most just because I've been riding the 450. It just came out. Yeah. I've been trying to help that along a little bit. But I mean,
are you giving them feedback and like you're working with them? That's like an official thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've been their production test rider for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And been going back and forth to Europe before this was even out and kind of helping them do 250 and the 450. Honestly, the brand as a whole is a great bunch of guys. I have great guys that I work with, and being involved with them versus the Japanese brands that I've been with in the past, they're more open-minded. They listen a little bit more from my experience, and they're willing to try things. And maybe that's because they're a brand new company and into our sport. But the things that I feel like I've wanted or said, hey, we need to work on these areas, they've responded to. And I like that. That's nice, you know, because I think the benefit for them is I get to ride all these different bikes. So I kind of know what works and what doesn't. But for me in general, if I'm just hopping on a bike before the Triumph got here, the Yamaha is just the same thing. It's that chick that you just can't get away from. She's unbelievable, and then she pisses you off. Like, my family makes fun of me all the time because I'll ride green, red, and for work, and I'm riding quite a bit. But then when I'm going back to go racing, oh, you're going Yamaha again, of course. You know, people think, oh, Keefer works for Yamaha. I haven't worked for Yamaha since 2009. Like, that's the bike I like because I know I can get a good start, and then it's up to me. Usually, I just get tired, but I always go back to it because I know it'll put me in a good position, but then I just peter out because it's fucking hard to ride fast. And that's what's good about these other brands is like the KTM engine character or the Triumph engine character. Sure, they're not as exciting as you're leaving the pits or you're getting on Glen Helen straight away, but
she's going to get up every morning, make you breakfast. She's going to do all the housework. She never complains.
When it's Shark Week, she's not yelling at you. You know, she's not going crazy. Like she's always just chill.
Yeah.
How's your day? Like, you want to
ride?
Hug. Okay, let's ride. Like,
yeah, go for a ride.
Yeah.
I don't need you around the house.
Yeah, you're fine. Do whatever you feel
I'll
like.
mow the lawn.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we're at with the Triumph. I think it's a blend of Yamaha, old school Yamaha feel and chassis with
kind of looks like it.
Yeah, like exactly like the frame. Calm, good contact, but with that KTM-ish, that easy to ride, smooth
really
power.
Linear power, yeah.
So for me, it's a very enjoyable bike. People's like, oh yeah, you got to say that. I'm like, I don't have to fucking say anything.
Yeah.
Triumph doesn't pay me money to go sell them motorcycles.
And also Yamaha does pay me money and they don't expect me to say anything.
I think
so. Like, it's a bit of a fallacy that people have, right? Like,
exactly.
Yeah. Even people that, like my friends, they're like, oh, you're going to do this?
Of course,
or can you? No, but they're like, oh, can you actually go? Like, I'll call them from riding. I'm like, I'm on 350. They're like, oh, does Yamaha care? I'm like, Yamaha wants me to just be me.
Exactly.
Like, they're buying the airtime, they're paying for the promotion. I do my absolute best, love the product, but they don't care. Right. They don't want me to only ride that. They don't expect it. All your credibility goes out the window when you do that.
I had a run-in with that too. I think on Vital, someone said, oh, Keefer's credibility is going down or something. And I'm like, I never chime in, but I had to chime in on that because it's about it's about me as a human. And I'm like, look, guys, here's how it works. If you don't believe in me, no problem. I get it. I'm not for everybody. Understood. But just know my whole purpose is to tell you my opinion. And that's all it is. It's my opinion. Just because, Rocky Mountain is one of my sponsors, I'm not telling everyone you have to shop there. Like, I'm giving you an honest opinion. If I work for Triumph, it doesn't mean, hey, man, the Triumph's the best thing. And then when I do say that, just know it really fucking is.
Yeah.
They don't pay me to say it. I'm not an influencer. I'm nothing. I'm just a test guy. But because I've ridden so much, I'm going to tell you what I feel. And you're only as good as your credibility, just like that handshake we talked about earlier. That's all you got.
Yeah.
When you leave, once that's fucked, you don't got anything.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah, and that really, like, it's just fully, you might get a short-term, bit of short-term gain out of taking a check or whatever.
The long term ain't going to survive.
No. And then, I never have doubts. That's why I always trust your opinion. But
I appreciate that.
But I'm always interested in what you're riding and what because I know that that's just how it is. Yeah,
and for me, like, I'm wired in to try to ride bikes and think about what the general consumer would like. Not only the young kids, but the older guy. What's a blend of that? I'm not in it for just like trying to make the best bike for me, but I like to ride an easy to ride engine in the 450 world. And I want to be able to feel the ground and not feel like I'm rigid as shit and enjoy myself. And I feel like the Triumph is going that direction. It needs some different things to help it along to be the best. But
what do you reckon it does need?
I do think it needs a little bit more low end. I think it's maybe too smooth at times. So when you ride softer dirt, it could be too smooth.
A bit bogged down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it needs a little bit of low end, and I think it could work from there. And also, it could use a little bit, better stability. I think, when you're really pushing and loading it on the faster upper echelon of rider, I think it could be too soft. But that's the upper echelon. Everything down below that, I think has so much comfort, right? And I think that's where we were in the old KTM group when 2019-20, that frame, unbelievable. People say, oh, steel frames. And I think even the announcers on some of the motocross are like, oh, yeah, steel frame's so much more compliant. I'm like, no, that's old steel frame. New steel frame is more rigid feeling than aluminum nowadays.
Yeah, I can notice that going from even on a brand new 450 yesterday, aluminum frame, feels softer and feels more, especially when you're like leaned over.
Yeah,
it just
the edge of
feels
tire.
like it has more give in it. It just feels like softer in a sense, which is like counterintuitive to what pretty much everyone says.
Like Cooper Webb, he talks about his old like 2022 or 19.
Yeah, that generation.
Yeah, like the old frame. He's like, dude, that was the best bike. He's like, I love that bike. And then they went to a stiffer frame, which some of them were asking for in the whoops, and then it just never was great, especially for the general consumer, because that edge of tire feel, you never had it. You feel like your contact patch was this big, right? And now they're starting to pull back from that a little bit, so that way you can feel the ground more. And I think that's what one of Triumph's best traits is. When you're leaning, you have that like wide contact feel. And Yamaha lost some of that in 23. And because they're trying to go for, she's a big girl, she was a fat pig in 22. But when you have some weight to you, you're stable. And for me, in the world of guys riding 450s, what do you need? You need stability, because they're going to twist that throttle. That's safety. You need some stability. Sure, could you make it corner better? But I think the consumer can help that along and make it corner easier than trying to get the consumer to make a bike more stable.
Yeah.
It's tough to do that. It's tough to make a bike slower in the 450 world, and it's tough to make a 450 more stable.
Yeah.
It's easier to make a 450 faster and easier to
stiffer.
make a 450 corner.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my mindset of like thinking about the general consumer that's buying these bikes. Let's try to think of something that's planted and then work on the weight and the cornering distribution a little bit, you know?
Have you done the old swing arm on the new bike?
On Yami?
Yummy.
Yes,
Is that better?
that's better. That does help. But
How-
then you got to change your shock setting
Okay.
because you're going longer. So then you got to
So
change
you
your
get
shock spring.
more leverage
Yeah.
on the
But
shock.
for sure, if some of you guys watching, you know, even Deegan and Tomac and these guys, it looks like they're on hill climb bikes a little bit. And you're like, it's just, but it's because it's a 10 millimeter longer swing arm.
That's a big difference.
That's what's hard to understand to the general guys that are listening to us talk. Like 10 millimeters, you're like, what? How does that even matter?
Dude, so we're doing World Vets again this year. Will you do it?
I'm not. I'm going to go to Etchikani. Matt Walker's doing a vet race. I'm going to try to do something different.
Yeah. So one of my mates, he's 50 this year. So he's be his first year in the 50
Nice.
class. But he's going to come stay with me for a bit. Fuck, I really want you guys to link up because he's like a good rider. Like he's won the 40 and 45 class
Nice.
before. But he is probably the best test rider I've ever seen in my life. He's not a test rider, but I've never fucking heard a person have the ability. He's the guy that emailed you.
Oh, nice.
Have the ability to complain about his motorcycle. But he complains out of feeling.
Yeah.
Like he actually can
Understand
feel every single thing on his bike.
That's awesome.
It is crazy. If you move his handlebars 1 millimeter forward or backwards,
He knows.
bike's unrideable. If you changed one tooth on the sprocket, like you could do, I would love to make a video with you and him, like blind testing.
That'd be great. That'd be fun.
Like if you added, what did he say the other day? So he got the 23 mil, the Ride Engineering 23.5 clamps for his 350.
Yep.
I don't think he's ridden it yet, but he was changing gearing. That's what it was. So he went from the 1452, I believe, is that stock on 350?
1451, I think.
1451.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm so in between gearing because if you go 1452, it's this. But then if you go 13, then it put the wheel too far back. And it's like, then you just can't ride the bike because the bike's, the wheelbase is too.
It's true.
And he is just obsessive, bro.
Yeah.
But it's like.
There's a point where that becomes detrimental.
Oh,
to you,
he's
right?
that guy.
Okay.
Yeah. No, he's just shocking. But he would be an amazing test rider.
That's cool. And that's why I think I did a show on my own show. I just talked about this. That's another email I get. How do you become a test rider? And people think you have to be fast. I'm like, dude, honestly, you don't have to be fast. You just have to understand how a motorcycle works, and you have to be able to communicate that to whoever you're talking to, right? And relate that into motorcycle terms. Like, just because, for example, the older Honda, people think, oh, it's stiff. And then we found out from Trey and all these videos that came out that it was actually soft on paper, and that translated to a stiff feeling motorcycle. So as long as you can translate what the rider is feeling and telling yourself or whoever is doing your suspension, you're a test rider. And it's not rocket science. You just got to be able to fucking talk and understand it and feel your way around. So I think it's really cool that your buddy's like that, but there comes a point where everything bothers you or you overthink it, like we were talking about. And that was some of my problem when I go race is I'll go to Loretta's. I'm testing while I'm racing. I'm like, fuck, dude, I got to stop doing that. I just got to ride, you know? So it does become a problem at times. But picking apart your motorcycle and trying to make it better and then feeling that it is better is very rewarding for me. Like, I like that.
Yes, I agree. And there's a big part of my fun in riding comes from just tinkering. Because my fun in riding isn't going to be whipping a fucking bike. Like, you know, I have to find fun elsewhere. Yeah. And that is fun to me.
So I have a lot of friends that prefer bling over performance. And their fun is being in the shop, in the garage, disassembling their bike, watching it reassemble into something different. And then riding it, sure, that's great. But that's not the important part. I have a lot of friends like that.
Yeah, and I think that's fine too.
Yeah, that's fine. And I respect that because, one, when you see a bike come to the track in some dude's truck and it looks good, I understand what went into that. And it scares you a little bit. Like, that guy's probably fast. And then you see him ride like, okay, no,
he's actually probably not.
He just likes to work on his bike.
I want to get some real good suspension for Yami this year. What's the options you reckon there?
There's a lot of good companies out there right now that has good KYB settings. And it's just not in Southern California. There's obviously Enzo, Ross. If you're going to look at someone that knows KYB and a good human being, it's hard to beat Ross and Enzo. Yoshi over there, he's a great guy. Mark, I've worked with Mark at REP, another smart human being. I love being around guys.
He's a fucking legend.
Dude, if I'm looking at him and talking to him when I test and he's looking at me, and I swear to God, Jace, he looks like he's going through my soul. And I'm like, fuck, dude, what are you looking at me? He's like, I'm just thinking about what you're saying.
He's downloading your brain,
you are
bro.
thinking right now.
Yeah.
But he is smart. He has, people think Mark's just like a WP guy, but obviously he's on Kenny stuff. Kenny's stuff is great, and we know how picky Kenny is, and he hasn't changed much. So that says something about Mark and what he does, and his KYB stuff is good. I've actually had a guy, TCD, back east that was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many guys that do suspension that it's a matter of who you're trying to do. And my recommendation when people ask me to do this, sure, the shop is important, but you got to give your suspension tuner a chance. You can't just go in there and be like, hey, man, I'm 180 pounds, B rider, hook me up. Yeah. And you're going to fucking think he's going to work magic? He might get you close, but then you got to have a little bit of patience with your stuff. If your tuner's like, hey, man, if you're not happy, bring it back. Do that. Don't bitch about it. Learn how to test. Learn how to feel. Write that shit down. Give that to your tuner. It'll get better.
Did you do the sag?
Did you do the sag? Did you bleed your forks? You know, it's like there's common sense involved with everything. But like, you just got to give your suspension tuner a chance. But if you want to try to get to someone and just nail it really quick, it's hard to beat like KYB, specialty guys like Ross. I mean, he's so much knowledge there. So,
yeah, I kind of want to really go bling with the KYB stuff this time.
Kashima, all of it.
Yeah. What is there off the shelf stuff that you can get? Like, how do you get the good shit?
So, people think they're just getting coated forks. Right? You got to get. It's not the same. Kashima is from Japan.
Yeah.
It acts different on the track than other coatings. I just did this test internally with someone else.
Oh yeah.
So 3 different types of companies. 1 Kashima, 2 other brands.
2 Foshima.
Yeah. And then it just, the way your bike reacts differently.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah. People think, hey, lower fork tubes are coated, right? Your forks are going to get softer just because it's
less friction. Yeah.
And I just did a podcast with Mark, and we talked about this. Some friction is good. Having some friction within your suspension is good for the rider. Depends how much, but having a little bit creates a little bit of damping quality feel and then hold up. If it's just slick as snot, you're going to have to adjust.
It can be too wet.
Yes. only in dirt bike terms.
No, it's a good point. Yeah, you can actually have it to where there's just like not enough.
It looks bitchin', but you're gonna have to adjust for that, right?
And then it just puts a lot more pressure on the damping.
Yes, you're gonna have
because you're gonna have to get that way more right.
For example, in production terms, the CRF 450 RWE, it's coated.
Yeah.
And their valving is different than the R.
Because it has to be.
It has to adjust for the Kashima.
Oh, that's another build I got going on.
In Honda?
Honda 450.
Dude.
25.
What do you think the best looking production bike is? Just production on the dealer floor.
Can I say Yamaha 450?
Well, it's like if it's the truth, then it's the truth.
Pull up the Honda. I do like the Honda, but I don't know that I like riding the Honda yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't. I wonder if there's.
I'm just based on looks.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I wonder if the look, feel, like if I'm biased.
like
I've got my own bias because I don't
like if it measures out.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like it's influencing. Like, dude, my gas 350 is ugly as sin.
It's not great looking bike.
The worst, dude.
It's not. And you know,
but I love that bike.
Probably everyone that buys a gas buys it because it's red. Red is a popular color.
That ain't enough for me though.
Really?
On that bike, it just doesn't.
Pull up the RWE if you can to see what that looks like.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty sick.
Like, that's just a clean. I'm a very plain guy in my life. Plain food, plain women, just like plain, right? And I feel like that's just clean.
That is very clean.
But my favorite, I think the best looking motorcycle when I see it up close. I'm not a fan of logos, but the way they tie this thing in is the KTM Factory Edition. Something about orange popping with that steel frame and the way they laid everything out. It's hard to not like a Factory Edition for me. When I see that up close, it just looks racy. Like, look at Giselle just wanting to go ride right there. Look at her. Mm-hmm.
I just love Akropovich pipes too. I've never owned one in my life.
Never?
Nah.
Never had one on the bike?
Nah. My brother did. My brother had one on his KTM, but I never had one.
If you're looking to have more power down low, you're never going to get it from Akropovich.
I don't need more power ever on any bike anywhere, like personally.
Looks-wise, craftsmanship.
They fuck those things.
Dude, it looks good. And now that badging is built into that muffler.
I know.
It's tough.
It's pretty wild.
And you're not going to find a deal on them. You never find them.
That's why I've never got one.
You're not going to feel like, oh, man, I'm sponsored by Akropovich. You ain't going to find it.
You buy yours, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Fuck. Heavy. That's heavy, bro.
$1,600, dude.
Yeah, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, you will.
I'm too poor.
Yeah, you will. You'll do it. If you want this build to smoke Deegan, you'll do it.
Oh, man, I got some plans, eh? I'm going to fuck him up. He got me last year. But guess what? I got Monster this year, too.
Oh, really?
He got me on there. He
beat
we were
you. I saw that.
50-50.
Yeah.
We were 50-50. Monster shares the story, and the fucking bar just starts creeping. Guess who's got Monster this year?
Oh, you're on it, huh? Can't beat him, join him?
That's right.
I like
I
that.
did it just for that.
I like that.
No, they look good. And you're right, the Hondas do look good. The thing that I love, pull up the Yamaha now.
Yamaha needs to come with the factory edition, dude.
I mean, the 450. I mean, is the Monster Energy thing not the... Well, it's the same. It's the same bike.
It's just branding, right? Like, let's get a factory edition.
They look better in person.
They do.
Than they do... Like, go to the Monster Edition. It's
honestly, the Monster Edition looks better in person as well.
Yeah. I love... The thing that I love about this bike, the motor looks angry.
It does.
The chassis looks very, like...
beefy.
Yeah, it's like... Yeah, it's beefy. It's complex. It's like, kind of looks like it's really holding on to something. And I also love the bigger like tank area. That lets the whole airbox just be very slim and sexy. So like, I don't know, you've got like the beefy frame, but then it's slim.
It's like some chick with back.
Yeah.
Slim thick. She's slim thick.
Yeah, she's slim thick. Yeah. So and that frame to me looks like a very well built frame, and also like the little the concave, or like, I don't know what you call it, like the bezel on the swing arm.
Oh, that inside, like, the indentation.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't like at first when that 23 came out, but now I love it, and now I go back to the old bike, I'm like, ugh, is the front fender. When I first saw the front fender, I was like, ugh. And it's so small, it looks lame. And then now I go back to the old bike, I'm like, oh my God, that front fender is just huge. Doesn't look good at all.
I think they needed to do that to like make the whole bike
look lighter.
Slimmer. Yeah. Have you ever back a Stark and like just a regular gas bike?
Yes.
Dude, how's the feeling of width?
Yeah. It feels like a bicycle.
It is crazy.
No.
When you go, I think I went from like the Stark to the 350 one day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, at Glen Helen, because I was riding both. I just could not believe it.
Yeah, it's
how
crazy.
Fat and thick that a normal dirt bike
and
is.
even when you ride them, like you go on the electric bike, you're like, oh, this thing is light. In and out of these corners real quick. I'm like that now when I go back on the Yamaha, because just recently the Triumph, the Yamaha, and the Kawasaki. The Triumph's like very narrow feeling, and it feels lighter. And then I get back on the Yamaha, and I'm like, ooh, it takes me a little bit to get used to this thing again, right? It feels thick. Even like when I'm holding on to it, I feel like it's just wider. And there's pluses and minuses to that, but it's a different feel.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally different experience.
I was telling this to someone the other day. I was like, you production test guys like Yamaha, and especially the guys at Yamaha, I tell them, I go, hey, why don't you make your test riders for 1 month? Don't touch a Yamaha. Don't touch it. Go ride 2-3 times a week and ride everyone else's shit, because they have other bikes in there, right?
Yeah.
Don't touch Yamaha. Because I feel like, and I was guilty of this when I was at Honda as well. We rode our bikes so much that you start to
overthink it,
believe that our stuff is pretty good. You're like, I don't know what these people are talking about. Like, what do they mean? Like, Honda's pretty good.
Yeah.
But when you go on other bikes, you're so quick, it feels foreign. So you're not giving the new bike a fair shake. I would like to see these other manufacturers give more time to other brands. That would make their bike better, because then they could understand and process what these magazines are saying when they do these shootouts.
Because they're riding everything all the time.
Right. So they can get used to it quick. And these production in-house guys are on their own product a lot. And they'll have days where they ride 3 different bikes, but it's for a day or two.
And you're not getting used to that, and you're not really exploiting the strengths and understanding the weaknesses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's so foreign to them, they think it as a flaw.
Yeah.
Not as a strength. So that was my thing. I was like telling Travis, I go, hey man, go ride other bikes more. Try to get out more. And maybe you can kind of understand things, you know? Because when I talk to them about how stiff it feels, and they look at me like I'm some kind of alien. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
What would you know?
Yeah, what are you saying? This bike's great. And it is. It's a great bike. Like, if that was the bike in the garage, that's what I'm going for. Again, she's crazy, but she's a great bike.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I just think the evolution of testing kind of needs to evolve a little bit. And I think a lot of the times Japanese culture is really, really good. I love it, but it's old school and it doesn't evolve as quick as other, non-Japanese manufacturers.
Yeah, yeah. So what would you do on the Honda build? What's the non-negotiables on that? Because I'm actually giving it away too.
So for me, it's more about, that's another smooth, easier riding. I think it has more power than the KTM and more manageable power, more torque. But for me, it's the same thing, chassis, how much stability you can get out of it. So again, clamps or races. I think engine mounts help this bike.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge engine mount guy on every single machine, but on this machine, it does help it calm down. And then,
so you do the races.
I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, and this is going to start a shitstorm. But torque settings make a difference.
Oh yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people think I'm
crazy.
crazy.
Is that not obvious?
Not in some engineers. They don't think it's obvious.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
So,
but if you take one engine mount bolt out, you feel it, right?
I do. Yes, you should.
So
but I'm saying let's say you torque.
No, I know, but let's
build to that.
follow this through, right?
Go ahead.
So out is loose.
Correct.
In is tight.
Correct.
And there's a spectrum.
Correct.
And in between that spectrum is individual torque settings. Like,
yeah. I mean, there's reasons why you have torque settings to begin with. Otherwise, just tighten the thing. But in the world of the Honda chassis, the torque settings are more finicky, and I feel like the rider can feel the torque setting differences on the Honda chassis versus other bikes. I don't feel it as much on other bikes, but for whatever reason on the Honda, and I thought I was crazy at times, and I went back to this, and we did blind testing internally at one time, and you could feel them. You could totally feel the difference. So torque settings matter on that bike, but for me, calming that chassis down, because it already corners really nice. It has a lot of front end feel. If you back that out a little bit and get more stability, you still have more cornering ability than other bikes anyway. So for me, it's about calming the chassis down. The engine for me is probably one of the better stock production engines out there right now, because it has enough excitement to keep you happy, but yet has enough rear wheel connection where it's not going to break loose like the Yamaha.
So what you do the races? Do you just keep stock clamps? Because I'm not going to be able to keep this thing stock. Like, we're going to give it away.
I would go to like a 24 millimeter offset clamp.
Okay.
If you're going to do one or the other, go to races or.
Oh, so not both?
No, not both. Either do one. If you're going to bling it out, then maybe go to 24 millimeter offset. X-Trig has some. Also, Adrian at Ride Engineering, he has those 23.5s that are nice. Depends which way you want to go. But for me, I would stick to that 24 millimeter offset. A lot of guys, even on race team side, that's what they're going to towards outdoors.
Do you prefer races or clamps?
On the Honda, I prefer clamps.
Okay.
On the Yamaha, I prefer races. Because I feel like the clamp design on the Honda could use a little bit more work. So when you go to some other type of clamp, it helps the chassis, and then going to that different offset just kind of helps that more.
What about if you did races with stock offset clamps?
Yeah, that's fine. But you're still going to change the rigidity. Just know that, because you're going to change that feel. And if you're chasing some kind of feeling and you don't know which one is affecting the other, races or the clamp. So if you want to do that, that's fine, but make sure you do it one thing at a time. So if you want to put the races in, okay, and I feel it, go ride it, put the clamps on.
I think it changes the wheelbase by like 4 millimeters. I think those races on the Honda.
Yeah, because then you're dealing with a different trail, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different than offset on. Yeah. It gets really confusing, man, because I sat with Doug for 2 hours and talked to him about this, because rider feeling versus what it's supposed to do on the offset is two different things. So like, let's say, for instance, stock is a 22 millimeter offset, and then we went to a 24. In theory, on paper, and what Doug was telling me is you should have more cornering ability. The bike should corner better and maybe not feel as stable. But what I feel is like when I go 24s, the bike feels more stable and maybe doesn't have as much cornering front end bite.
That's what it would make sense to me in my head.
But it's not that way on paper. That's what blows my mind. And he gave me this whole thing of why. And I'm too dumb to even repeat it. But at least that's the huge thing about dirt bikes is sometimes engineers don't understand riders, and riders don't understand engineers because the two don't correlate at times.
Well, it's one of the oldest sayings in golf. Feel isn't real.
I didn't know they said that.
Yeah, so it was like basically you think you're doing something with your swing, but you're doing something completely different in reality.
And see, it's weird as I live by feel is everything for me. That's what I live by.
I think more so in like the technicals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you should feel this. And it's like, well, it's not, doesn't always relate one to one, you know?
I think that's what when I get, and I had some of these engineers at Yamaha and things is, what is riding to you? And maybe some of these engineers aren't riders. And for me, like riding is a feeling. If you have a good feeling and you feel stable, protected, you ride faster. And I think that's what everyone kind of wants when they get on the dirt.
For sure. Yeah.
And when I give feedback, sometimes they're like, oh man, that's so weird. Like, I don't understand that. It should be the opposite way. And that's why it's always good to have other opinions besides one person. And then if that opinion goes to 3 deep the same way, engineer mind is blown. They don't understand it because it doesn't compute on paper. So it doesn't always correlate. Same thing with the dyno
Well, I
versus
think
feel.
that's like the Honda chassis of years past. It's like
Yeah.
it feels stiff, it feels stiff, it feels stiff. It's just this constant. But and the engineer's like, okay, we'll make it softer.
And then it gets worse.
And then it gets worse. Yeah.
That's why, like, you know, previous years, you look at Jett and Hunter's bike, they have that plate running down the down tube, adding material. And they're like, yeah, the bike feels softer. So in certain ways, depending on lateral or longitude, how the stiffness goes is where the rider will be able to feel it. And again, I'm not smart enough to know those things, but when you have an engineer that rides quite a bit and understands rider feeling, and then as well as be as smart as he is in the engineering world, dude, it's such a rare combination, and those are the guys that make the product unbelievable. Yeah.
What do you make of the Honda issues that the boys had in Supercross at the start of the year? Is that purely just down to not having enough testing time?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
I mean,
it's not the bike.
You have a book of records, right? And you have a suspension technician. You're starting new. And so you're going off things that you have in your book to try. And in theory, again, it's like we say, we shouldn't have that much change. But then maybe Hunter and Jett saying, man, the bike's doing something totally different for me. I don't have enough front end traction, or I'm getting too much knifing. You know, and I think some of that was the problem early for Hunter and the guys. I mean, we saw a lot of this. Anaheim 1 didn't look great, right? But I've been with the Honda guys, even the race team side. Smart human beings. They don't panic. They don't rush. They figure it out. And then you have two, I feel like, I don't know them well, but I feel like level-headed guys in Hunter and Jett. I feel like Davies.
Oh, especially when it comes to the testing side of things.
Yeah. I talked to Davies one time. One of the coolest dads I've ever met in my life, and one of the most down-to-earth, chill, understanding what's going on kind of dads. Like, I always looked up to him after he was on Steve's show one time.
Yeah.
And I listened to that interview, and I'm like, holy fuck, a normal human being with two badass riders.
Yeah.
That is a rare fucking thing. And then I talked to him. I went to the Honda intro. I'm like, dude, I just want to shake your hand. I respect what you're about. I respect what you did for your boys and how you continue to be around your boys without being too much. Not being involved in every fucking thing, but yet being involved.
Yeah.
Like he weaved his way into that, right? So the Honda guys are in a good spot now, I think. It just sucks that both the guys are hurt.
Oh, that's so crazy, eh?
As much as here's the thing about this. When Jett's racing, I'm like, we're fucked. See you later. Even though like, oh no, he wasn't winning. Yeah, he wasn't winning yet, but it was coming. You just see it. Now that he's out, I miss it.
You know what I miss? Quali.
Yeah.
We were finally
Last
getting
lap
into
guy.
the era where quali was the sickest shit to watch.
Yeah.
Like, you were at A1?
Yeah.
How dope was that quali session, the second one?
Gnarly.
Jett coming across the line, going second, Eli on top, crowd fucking lost it. Like, that's one of the things, and I always talk about it in our sport. I'm like, we should make quali better. Like, I would love to have the last sessions like a 20-minute session, and they just drop dudes out. So if you're in 20th, after 5 minutes, gone. 10 to 15, gone. 5 to 10, gone. And then you just end up with the last 5 dudes. Last 5 minutes, last 5 dudes. And just watch them throw the fuck down.
Do you like
throw the fuck down?
What about when they do it for the night show and they do their qualifying? You like that?
I'd like that too.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that as well.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, in F1, it's the craziest shit ever.
Yeah, it's exciting.
In MotoGP, it's the best shit ever. And like, we're already seeing pretty crazy qualies. Dude, San Diego, Chase, Jett, Eli, all within 1,000th of a second.
Insane.
Bro, put that on display.
Yep.
Get everyone else out of the way.
Yeah.
All y'all.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Just give us 5 minutes, all right?
We got this.
We need to settle this like men.
Yeah.
All right? No one in the way.
Yeah.
All eyes on me. Let's up the pressure level.
Yeah.
Let's throw the fuck down.
Yeah, that's my favorite time. Like people say, why do you go home, Keefer, the night show? I'm like, I like racing. I love it. But like for me, watching the guys dissect the track and then throwing the heaters down, that's it for me. that gets me going, because it's insane how quick these dudes dissect something, do it without even thinking, and then boom, pick it up, and then times, bam, bam, bam. And then they lay it down on the very last fucking lap is insane to me. And to one up that is when they haven't done something in quali and they go with night, degaff, and jump something they haven't even jumped is mind-blowing to me as a rider. Because if I haven't jumped something the first fucking hour I'm on track, I'm never going to do it. Don't even ask me.
Yeah.
So to do that in a race situation at a high level, at a jump that's high risk, high reward, insane.
Juju.
Insane.
Bro. That was so gnarly.
In Phoenix? Yeah.
But apparently he's like a psychopath at the test track too.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah, he pretty much just asked Chase, can I quad this on a 250? And he'll be like, yeah. And he just does it.
That's insane.
Gnarly, bro. Some guys just have that gear, eh?
Yeah, just like...
I was born without that. Whatever that is, that's like an extra thing that you put in someone's fucking brain when you're like typing up the recipe.
Yeah.
Not a thing on
Thanks,
me.
Dad. You left that out for me.
Yeah, I just fucking don't have it, man.
That's just part of dirt bikes, all the stuff that we're talking about. That's awesome, you know? And like we said earlier, doesn't matter how good you are. That, what we said, just talking about jumping something, that feeling when a vet guy jumps the tabletop that's 40 feet, it's the same
shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I completely agree. That's why it sucks, like going back to like the Chase thing. You kind of like, you got to talk about the things that happen on the races if like that's what we're all here to do. But it's like, bro, he's so fucking good.
Yeah.
So
like, how could you talk shit? He's so
unrelatably
right?
good.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous how good those guys are.
I'm the same way. I'm more of rider versus media guy. I'm on that side a little bit more just because I do it so much. And I don't pick apart riders as much as other guys. Like, I just can't do it.
As much as me.
I mean, Steve does it too. Like,
yeah, you kind of have to.
That's their job, right?
Yeah.
But for me, I just don't get involved in it that much because I understand how hard it is. And when I've been in the press box, dude. It looks fucking easy from there. It's fucking easy. I've been in St. Louis going, I can't even see these dudes. Everything looks simple.
I got snacks. I got Oreos. I got a fucking I got a coffee, some Doritos.
And we can sit up there and go, oh, what's he doing? Why would he do that? Like, yeah, it's hot stuff.
Triples like this big.
Yeah. That's what I do. Sometimes I'll get out of the press box. I'll go down, and then it just changes my perspective. And I wish they would do that. Feld would do that, which I know it would be difficult. But let people on the track a little bit more accessible, have a time to just look at it. At least get down there and look.
Yeah, it's just like one big weird fish tank.
I
from
did
the
that
media center, you know.
Yeah, I did that 2 years ago. I got to go walk the stadium after New Jersey and to see the track after the main event.
Bro, that should actually be mandatory for media.
It blew my mind.
Yep.
I mean, and I ride. It blew my mind what I was looking at. The ruts and the rocks poking through the ruts. I was like, okay.
We walked the track after San Diego.
Dude.
Hectic.
Gnarly, right? How gnarly the whoops?
So gnarly. Like, I couldn't get around that track.
No.
No chance.
Imagine trying to set up a bike for that to go that fast. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. The level in motorsports, I mean, it's kind of everything, right? Like, dude, 2025 professional sports, fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Just the level that you have to be at to be one of these guys, like the level you're operating on, like a Cooper Webb, a Chase Sexton, dude, Tomac at the start of this year, like fully alien.
Dude, it's
subhuman, not possible. Like we used to live in a world where, and maybe this like to go back to our like parenting conversation, I mean, you just have to be a freak now. Like that's why you have to push so hard. And, you know, like even doing the jiu-jitsu the other day at B team where I did, it's like, fuck, they're so good.
Look how many guys got hurt this year. I'll just grab one.
We're 6 rounds in.
Yeah. Grab one. Jordan Smith last week. Just bop, 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 eject button, slap, bam, done. Just that quick. Winning races, highs to highs, Triumph stoked, boom, ribs, lung, smoked. Just that quick.
Jett didn't even really make a mistake.
Yeah.
Knee.
Dab.
Done.
It's so crazy to me, and like how quick it could just stop, and that you're this close all the time, and you live your life just chill. Like it's all, and it's what I watch these guys leave the pits. They don't kiss their spouses bye. They're like, dude, you're that close all the time. Like, and you just remove it from your head, and you go and twist the throttle.
We all
and
do.
we come back to it, and you're jacked up. And guess what? How quick can I get back on the bike? What can I do to speed this up so I can go almost fuck myself again?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But that's another wild thing about dirt bikes in general. Is like we're all there.
Yes.
All the time.
All the time.
Just
Yep.
Just pull it out of your brain.
How many times have you been to a track, you see someone pass away? You're racing the next day. It's unbelievable what mindset we're all in with this sport and how addicting it is. It's crazy when you put yourself in that position really quick. You're like, oh fuck, we're fucked up,
dude. For real,
we're screws loose.
Yeah, no, and you just don't think about it.
No,
you just never fucking.
Oh, we do, but it lasts for a little bit, right?
Yeah, like but you.
That's the sad part about our sport is we forget about people quick, even the hurt ones. Like I feel like we don't pay enough attention to the people that have given their lives to the sport. They're hurt. Yeah. Let's have a GoFundMe or let's raise some money. And then 2 years later, I wonder what he's doing now. Fucking gone. Good luck to you, brother. Man.
It is wild, eh?
Crazy.
I was there, I spoke about it before, but the day Andrew McFarlane died. Fuck me. So that ruined me for so long. I reckon it was like 8 years before I rode again properly.
Yeah.
That was so gnarly, dude. One of the best in the world.
Sharky was a good dude.
Real good dude.
Yeah.
Did you have much to do with him?
Interaction a couple times, but just like I said, you meet someone, you feel something, and like I could feel like he was a good dude, you know? Wasn't too big for himself or
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fucking crazy one. But yeah, that I couldn't ride for a very long time after that. Just felt like too much, you know.
Well, then having kids, do it.
Bro, I couldn't imagine.
Example, A-Ray having a baby. A-Ray's loose as shit, right? He's even kind of pulling back now because he saw me. Aiden, at one time, A-Ray was with us. Aiden went off the track, cartwheeled. I was yelling at him on the side of the track. A-Ray's like, dude, I just remember you yelling at Aiden all the time. You know, I go, dude, you're so hard on Aiden. I go, no, I'm trying to protect Aiden.
Yeah.
I'm yelling at him saying, you did something stupid. Chad Reed just did this in his latest vlog with this kid. Dude, don't be that guy. Don't be the guy crashing all the fucking time. One, you're not going to go anywhere. Two, you're going to get hurt. So I did that like several years ago when Aiden was on an 85. A-Ray's having a kid now. He called me the other day. He's like, dude, I'm having flashbacks of when you did that several years ago. I get it now. I don't even have the kid yet, and I understand where you're coming from. I'm like, yeah. Imagine having a kid, send him out with 40 dudes on the gate, and that's why you see moms pacing up and down the storm, smoking cigs, like fucking stressed out, dude.
Yeah.
But yet we're doing it. Like, here you go. And it's the best sport. It could be the worst at any time. Fuck. It's insane.
Yeah, man. The whole your kid racing thing would be so hard.
How do you not allow them to do it? And here's the thing. I didn't care. I did not give a shit. I didn't push him. Didn't care. Several years, I was going to the track. You want to go? Nope. Okay. No problem. It wasn't until like 11 or 12 that he started wanting to go to the track with me. And it wasn't until 15 or 16 that he actually wanted to do it. And I was like, what am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
It's my life.
Yeah.
No, man, I don't want you. It's too dangerous. Can't do that.
Well, and I mean, it's pretty easy to justify in the sense of you just Google car crash deaths. You know, just Google any form of illness, sickness, death, like, you know, life's for living.
Yep, absolutely.
You do that. I do believe in that.
Life's for living, but there's a way to do it to be responsible as much as you can. So God forbid something happens. You know that you did everything you could to help that situation. Shit happens still, no matter what. But Same thing for driving. You teach them how to drive, they get their license. Hey, man, you drive defensive. You don't fucking, no one sees you. That's how you drive. And in racing, hey, man, in your limits. Know when to turn it on, know when you not to do it. Because like that, it could just go bad. These small things. I mean, ACL surgery just because he fucking dabbed his foot. Done. Something stupid. Imagine what real, like, a big one could do, you know? So.
Are you back riding yet?
No,
Still.
he's got a while.
Fuck.
Little poor kid had shoulder surgery.
Yeah, it was a shoulder last time, eh?
Got a month in his month, went racing, did really good, getting ready to go do stuff, went riding with Dad in the Des after rain, dabbed his foot, ACL. Done.
How long ago was that?
January. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That sucks.
A couple guys referenced me to a doctor going from surgery ACLs. There's a guy in Tennessee named Dr. Bowman. Has a new way of doing ACLs. Chance Hymas
did it.
RJ.
Yeah.
Christian. And he takes, obviously, his patella for his ACL, but then they take a piece of your IT band and they wrap that around your ACL to reinforce it. So that's where we went for him.
Yeah, right.
So,
yeah, Chance was back riding in like
3 months.
Yeah, 3 months or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, that's probably the move to get that done.
Again, what doctor do I need to go to so I can get back on the bike?
Yeah, it's just as quick as. But I mean, he's like got a career.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But I'm just saying, in general, like that's how we're wired. Most of us. I mean, there's some guys that crash like I'm out, and they do, then they're out. I mean, I have friends that have wives that are like,
yeah, you can't ride.
no, you're not doing that, and I'm like, fuck, that's not my life, but I understand it. I get why they're like that, you know. So
I had a crash when I was a kid. That was the reason I never got to race growing up, because I crashed on a Pee Wee 50. Put the handlebars through my stomach, ripped a hole in my bowel, had to get full emergency surgery. The doctors literally came out. Before I went into surgery, they're like, hey, say your goodbyes. Your 6-year-old
jeez,
might not come back.
Wow.
And then I lived, and Mum was like, yeah, that's it. You ain't fucking riding dirt bikes.
Okay.
So then that's why I bought me mountain bike. I
So you
did
started
BMX,
other stuff.
bought my mountain bike, and then when I was old enough, I bought my own bike because Mum couldn't say no. But yeah, that's what it was like for us. And I just think Dad, like, it was so traumatic, dude. Like, I remember being in the back of my uncle's car, vomiting shit because
It was coming out.
yeah. And like, just remember, like, I remember a few things about the whole deal, but just the trauma, bro, that my parents had to go through. And then my dad had like tons of injuries racing and that as well. But my mum was like, nah. But then I just got to a point where I was so obsessed with it. I'd like all my friends in school, I'd go ride
How long
their
did it take you
bikes.
to ride again
Well, I rode,
after that injury?
I can't remember. But it wasn't until like I went and had friends at school that rode, then I'd go and ride their bikes without telling anyone. And
Started sneaking around a little bit.
sneak around riding. And then when I finally bought my first like real bike was a CR125.
Nice.
1998.
Ooh.
Biggest piece of
I would
shit.
say that was a pile of trash.
I remember the fucking first time I ever took it to the motocross track. We had this shitty little motocross track in our town, like a little S section. It was probably like 30 yards long, little U-turn. Yeah, just fucking on the every lap I come around. Had this big long straightaway.
Wow.
Oh, it was the fucking worst. But
That's awesome.
but yeah, it took me forever. But then I think my brother got lucky because he was a few years younger. So like I think I was like 16 when I bought that bike, and then he was like 13, end of 13. So like he started riding a little bit younger.
My very first race, I raced desert and off-road because I was in high des. It was a hare and hound, which is like two big 40-mile loops out in the desert, and I was on an 80. I was 11. Like, okay, go ahead and go. And my dad would, follow the ribbon. So I knew what to do, but having them thinking about me going out there by myself somewhere in the desert with your kid being 11 years old, it's crazy to me. I would never have done that with Aiden. So one of my dad's good friends passed away from a crash in that same race when I was in. And it was a big deal with our family. And I remember vividly, and I was really young, so I don't remember a lot, but I do remember having a family conversation in our dining room. My mom and my dad talking about his buddy losing his life. And I just remember crying crying, and my dad's like, "What? Why are you crying? I don't want you taking away my bike. I want to like." That's what I remember of me being really young. This is how much it impacted my life and how much I loved it from an early age. I was scared that they were going to take away my bike because his buddy passed away. And we talk about these champions. You have something inside of you. I was fucking born with whatever that is. Because that's how much I loved it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, and dude, I didn't ride forever. All I wanted to do was ride. From the moment I had that crash at, I think I was 6 or whatever I was, just was obsessed, bro. Would watch like my dad had a XR600, so he did a lot of like trail riding and shit like that. Like he raced motocross and supercross when he was younger, but then moved into that. So always had a bike in the shed. I used to just go sit on it. We used to just only watch dirt bike movies, dirt bike DVDs, dirt bike magazines, just from like the young, bit of riding I did as a kid. Never left. And I mean, even now still hasn't left. Like,
how old were you when Krusty came out?
I remember watching it as like a 10,
dude,
9, 10. All we did. My uncle would literally there was a motorbike shop in town called Wayne Leonard Motorcycles, and they were the ones that used to get the DVDs, the Krusty DVDs. And my Uncle Ando would go the day that it come out. He'd pre-order it, he'd get it, and he'd drive over, and we'd all sit in my lounge room.
That's sick.
Play Krusty Demons of Dirt.
I remember at first when we got Krusty, I put it in the VHS, and we watched it 5 times
in a row.
In a row.
Yeah,
we couldn't believe what we were seeing. And then after that, that's all we did. I didn't go ride laps. I wouldn't go fucking dicked off and try to find hits and wanted baggies and all the shit. I met Mike Russell. I was sponsored by LBZ back in the day.
No way.
Yeah, I gotta show you these pictures of this LBZ days. I thought it was the sickest thing. When Velveeta's and cow print and cheetah.
Did you race in it?
Yeah, but like locally, I did. I was on an I was on an XR400 with LBZs, bro.
That's living, dude.
Dude, that's high des.
I would do that right now.
XR400, 4-stroke nationals, LBZs, DGAF.
XR400 is maybe one of the best bikes ever made.
440s, because I worked at Al Baker's XRs only.
You worked at XRs only?
Yes. So I was the shipper. That's what I was like, I loved it so much, I wanted to be around it. So I said, I need a job. Same thing. My dad's like, hey, you want your own shit, you got to get some money. So I went down to XRs only.
How old were you working there?
15, 16. Answering phones. I worked there for a few years, shipping. And then they said, oh, you can ride a little bit. Let's get you on one of our bikes and take you some races. So I thought I made it, like. That's
a factory ride at that point.
XR 440, bored out, got the big fins, got my baggies.
Yeah, they had the big fins on there.
Yeah. I was in the back when because Freddie was a Mexican gentleman that helped Al back in the day. And then when Al passed away, Freddie kind of took it over. And I'd be in the back polishing the fins up, with the mother's polish, but getting ready to go racing. Hell yeah. That's what I was in a catalog, Al Baker's I thought, dude, I made it. Like, this is what it's all about right here. This is it.
I mean, it kind of is, though.
Yeah, back then it was.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Pull up XR only and try and we got to see if I don't know whether everyone would understand these bikes.
XR's only is still there in Asperia, by the way. It's still there.
Still there.
Yeah.
So
there it is. Yeah, XR's only.
Look at that shit.
That's the logo. So that tank, that's what I had on my XR 400 right there, that tank graphic.
Which one? Oh, up the top there.
Top right.
Yep. Go right.
All the way right.
All the way
the
right.
last one.
Left
no,
now. Left 2 right.
The thumbnail. Sorry, the last thumbnail on the right.
It's literally right there in the middle of the screen. It says XRs only.
Go up one more.
Up one more from there.
There. Up.
Right.
No, other way. Right there. There it is.
That's the one.
That's it.
Do you remember Jeff Ballard?
Jeff Ballard, yeah. Aussie. Me and Jeff rode together.
So I
talked to Jeff on the phone all the time when I worked there.
Yep. So he used to order stuff from you guys for Ballard's Off-Road.
Yes, because we worked together with him.
Yep. So he was the guy that would bring all the XRs only stuff into Australia.
Yeah, I'd ship a shit ton of stuff to Jeff.
Yeah.
He was a good mate.
He's a fucking legend.
Is he still around?
Bro, he is the shit.
Well, you tell him I said hi. He probably remember me.
Next time I talk to him, mate, he's like when I'm in Australia, he's like in my crew.
That's fucking
We
sick.
ride together all the time.
He
rips, bro. He's in his 60s now.
Dude, he ripped back then, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy that you know him.
Where we were talking about, because we were talking about XRs only. He did the podcast.
He did?
You should listen to it.
Oh, I got to listen to that then.
Dude, it was so cool. Pull it up on YouTube.
Jeff Ballard.
When we did it, well,
Man, you're throwing some names out.
I'll send you the links. So, yeah, bro, I was deep in the XR game because that's what my dad had.
Okay.
So, my dad had an XR 400. Then he had a 650. Dad used to do these big stand-up wheelies on the beach, like when he'd go trail riding and shit.
My dad,
Look at this guy. Look at him.
I'll be damned. That is so rad.
Jeff does, you know.
Really cool to see him.
He talks about all the XR only, and he talks about all the shit.
Wow. Yeah, my dad rode with Al when he was alive. And then, he passed away, and I was like, I'm going to try to go get a job there. And that's where I worked, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
It is a small world, though, I guess.
Yeah, drove the box van, went to races, and lived the XR life for a long time when four-strokes weren't cool, you know? And people were like, oh, you're on a fucking four-stroke? That's disgusting. I was out shredding at 400, dude.
So this makes more sense about the whole two-stroke hate. Keefer two-stroke hate.
I guess that does make sense. I was on four-strokes before they were even cool.
Yeah. Can you look up Australian thumper nats? Thumper nats.
Yep.
Do you remember these?
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
This was the shit when I was a kid.
Dude.
Back in the day, grass tracks. Oh, bro.
Look at that.
The RZ400s.
DRZs, yep.
Look at that, bro.
What?
That's Conondale, eh?
That's burying that thing in there.
Is that Conondale, Griff?
Oh, check
Doesn't
out that
look like
XR, that number 1 down there. That's not that Husaberg. Shit, dude. It's taking me back.
I wonder who that is. Yeah, man, this was the shit in Australia.
How long did that last there?
They did it for a long time, man.
Who raced those? Like, what kind of guy would race
Dude,
those?
like Stephen Gallwood raced it.
Okay.
Jeff Leask raced
Hurley?
it. Yeah. Daryl Hurley.
Yeah.
Like, dude, Chad. I'm sure, like, young Chad would have done this. But it was, like, Unadilla every race. So it wasn't built. They would just go to these big old fields. They'd put stakes in the ground.
Hell yes.
Make a huge grass track. And just all of these 400s and 650s would go and race these things.
So sick. Yeah, here we had a series called Four Stroke Nats, and it was actually pretty big.
Yeah, right.
White Brothers would sponsor, like Spud Walters.
Yeah.
Spud.
Yeah.
Dustin Nelson was big in there. Ryan Hughes raced it at times. Like, yeah, it was a big deal.
They were sick bikes. Very forgiving back then. Well, I guess unforgiving in some ways.
They're
too,
heavy
though,
as
probably.
shit. Yeah. They're heavy as shit. Who's that 65 guy in that Yamaha right there in the MSR gear?
Go up. Circo. Is that Daniel McCoy? No.
Huh.
Yeah, Daniel McCoy. Yeah. I bet.
Yeah, it is Daniel McCoy.
Yeah, DMC, baby.
Damn, dude. Haven't heard that name in a while, too.
He's a fucking good dude.
That's sick.
Have you ridden the Ducati yet?
I have not.
They didn't call you up? You didn't get the call?
I didn't get the call yet.
What do you reckon? What do you make of it?
From just the look out of it, obviously, Desmo and all that, I think it has a lot of potential, but I kind of know the growing pains of a first-year motorcycle. And I do know a little bit, like a few months ago, I heard some stuff. They were having some stuff go on, which is all completely...
What kind of stuff?
Just engine problems.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Right. But I think it's going to be very difficult for them just to come out and be like, this is an amazing machine. And it probably will be at some point in time. But from what I've learned with Triumph, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of trial and error. And some failures have to happen before it gets successful. And just like we saw in Cannondale, you know, they put everything out for the public to see. I think maybe that was a little bit of a wrong move and hurt the brand a lot because there's a lot of failures going on. And they should have did more of that stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I would assume that's not going to happen, but I don't expect Ducati to set the world on fire and change the whole way that we've ever thought about a motorcycle. At least not right now. I think, yes, it will be a good machine. It's probably going to be a fucking fire breather. And it may change the way the Japanese think a little bit, but it might be a little while before
we
that
get
does.
there.
Yeah.
I'm going to piss again. I want to keep talking about that.
Yeah.
So Triumph, they were in development for a long time, right?
I was there a little bit later. I didn't, obviously Ricky, I think even Jeff Stanton and IT got to ride the really early bikes. And then I got a call from them and said, can you
When
help?
it was kind of production-ish.
Nah, wasn't even
really?
close to that. No,
Yeah, okay.
But it was a little bit later, so I got called from John, and I was like, yeah, I'd love. I was at Honda at the time, and I couldn't take both on because in my contract that I could test one for one manufacturer. So I left Honda. I just feel like I wasn't testing enough. I wanted to be utilized more, and I wanted to be. And after COVID, not a lot of people were testing, you know. And then I just went to Triumph and started working with them, and it's so far so good.
So, but they had a lot of failures behind closed doors, which as they should.
Everyone does.
Yeah. And do you think, from your knowledge, do you think Ducati has had less time?
No.
So it's been going
I think
on for as long.
the time is about the same as Triumph.
Okay.
Even though, in the grand scheme of things, I think Triumph did it in a pretty short amount of time. But I think it's about that same time frame as Triumph.
Yeah.
So they've been doing this for a while. The time we hear about it,
Exactly.
it's been there for a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
So there's always things like, it's amazing to me. Like for me, I'm in production testing world. I'm so far ahead now. I'm in into 27 stuff. So when I go back to normal media testing, I'm in 25. I'm like, I get confused at times because I'm so far ahead. Right. So, everything is 2 years in advance from where we are right now.
Yeah, okay. What do you think it does for the landscape, though? It's pretty sick to have Ducati in. Who you reckon's going to ride from next year?
It's tough to say. I mean, we've heard Kenny.
But
We've
he'd
heard
have
Barsha.
to go to Troy Lee.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's not going to happen.
Right. So I would think it's going to have to be
definitely gonna be
someone on their
Barsha.
way out.
Yeah.
Not someone going upward. Because there's no way that I see a guy on the upward trend early in his 450 career going to risk that for I don't care how much money. I don't think it's worth it for them. So I would say someone like a Barsha,
I'd say that's a given.
a Mookie, something like that. And that goes for me. It's the same thing with Triumph as well. Like when they have their 450 team next year, it's going to have to be someone, I think, and I don't know, but I just think it'd have to be someone in the middle to the end of their career to make sure the bike is good. Hey, we're good.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like Triumph's a fairly safe bet at this point.
I think so now because the 250 program.
Yeah. I think like they obviously have done amazing. Even last year, like Jalek was epic on that bike. Like he deserves a lot of credit.
That's what I think too, man. I feel really bad for him.
Yeah, I think he was almost underrated what he did last year. First year motorcycle, first year team, podiums, ran up front, really good. Like he batted way above his average
Absolutely.
for that year.
Just from the things that I've known, that it was a lot smaller of a group back then. Obviously less resources because you're just starting out, and how well the team did and how well Jalek did, I think was huge. I think what we saw on Saturday nights and on Saturday days wasn't the full story. You know, if he's getting a top 10, that was really, really good.
Yeah.
From what they had, you know?
And he just set a crazy benchmark. Like I would say that they would have Jordan's win. A lot of that is to
Jalek.
thank with Jalek.
Absolutely.
Like that win doesn't happen if Jalek doesn't do as good as he does.
Yeah.
Because he really would have made Jordan believe in that bike and that program, whether he knows it or not. Like that's really making that bike pass the eye test, you know.
Absolutely. And then when Jordan won, I was so happy for the team and Jordan, but also Aiden and I were on the couch, and that's the first thing I thought of was Jalek. And, you know, being at home, being hurt, I can see him being pissed off. And we called him and we talked to him, and I go, "How you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." He was like, "I'm happy." And he's like, "Yeah, part of me's bummed out, but he's like, I'll get it." And he was really positive about it. But I just kept thinking, man, he was so close. And I saw him ride in December when I was there, and I'm like, dude, you gotta calm down, dude, because you're really going, fast. And then stupid frickin' Achilles, you know, and I just thought about him when Jordan won, you know.
I just think that win is his win as well, you know.
Absolutely.
Like he's a real big part of that.
Yeah.
So, and I think then sets up the 450 team. Like they obviously know what's going on. So
the bike's going to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, in production form, it's really good. And I think it's only going to get better for whoever rides it. You know, and there's smart guys. Dave Arnold, one of the smartest guys I've known for chassis.
He's been around.
Dude, it's another guy that looks through your soul when you talk to him. You know? He's just such a smart guy. Him and Ivan are together a lot, and Ivan gets a lot of his knowledge. And just being around him, the things that he's acquired over the years and putting that towards the race team, it's really beneficial for the team.
Yeah. So I'd say Barsha on Ducati.
Yep.
Who's your second rider? If you just had to bet. Kenny ain't leaving Fox.
No. I would say I'm looking at a team like a Husqvarna, right? Those guys they got to go somewhere. KTM ain't going to go get Mookie.
RJ is going to go straight onto a Husky 450. I'm pretty sure that's like a thing. That was in his contract that if he won, that he had to go there.
I don't know if that's a for sure thing now.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know if that team's going to be around.
No, I don't think they are. I thought that they just have to have one guy to fulfill that.
Yeah. I would see someone like that on the team, like a RJ or a Mookie would be a good fit for that team because capable of wins, obviously, right?
I could see RJ at Triumph.
I could too. It obviously changes the scope a little bit since they had some management changes, you know? I think having Bobby gone, we associated Bobby with Jason and these certain guys that were Bobby's guys. So I don't know if that has changed at all, but I mean, I would think it does.
I could see Ando going to Ducati for a massive paycheck.
I could see that because, you know, he has less years in front of him than he does behind him, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and then where do you think Chase goes?
that was the big topic, right? Early. He's like, oh, he's going to Star. He's going to go to Yamaha.
He's not 100.
No.
I bet $1 million that he does not go
No,
there.
I think he stays where he's at. I think the team has worked, and away from the cameras, he said, man, my bike's a lot better. He's like,
You can see it.
Yeah. He still complains about certain things, but everyone does. Look,
Well, he's just a perfectionist.
yes. So for me, I think he stays where he's at because I also think that chassis next year is not changing. So we're not going to see a new chassis from KTM until 27. So why?
You're going to get into the sweet spot of that thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to the twilight years of this chassis. So we're going to know all kinds of shit. We're going to have all this record, right? So let's stay where we're at. We're only going to get better. Why change and start all over again? Let's just stay where we're at. So I think he stays. That's why. It'll be the smart decision for him. He obviously can win on it. He's fast as shit on it.
Yeah.
Why screw it up? You know?
Yeah.
Just because of a few practice days away from people on another bike.
Yeah. AP could be a dude that goes to Ducati.
Yeah, I see him can go to Triumph as well.
Triumph.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty cool off season this year.
Yeah.
I think Coop, Star's fucked. Like,
How many guys they got?
bro, we were talking. Who were we talking about? Yes, we talking. What's that? Yeah, Ricky Stenhouse. We were talking about like that whole thing. So they're going to have Deegan. They're going to have to keep Webb because like Webb's probably going to win this championship.
Is Eli coming back? We don't know.
Eli's coming back. I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
I reckon.
Just from what you felt when he was
Just my
here?
gut instinct.
Yep.
Even when he was in this room, I didn't think he was going to retire.
Really?
100%. I left. I think I said it on the show with RC and AC. I was like, if he wins a race this year, he ain't retiring. 1,000,000%, bro. That was the best he's ever looked.
It's insane. It's insane. He was going so fast. I can't wait till outdoors.
Ridiculous.
Outdoors. Let's keep everybody healthy.
He's gonna want to really fuck shit up.
And Jett's gonna want to fuck shit up. It's gonna be nice.
Prado.
Prado better be ready, dude, because it's gonna be crazy, dude. Dude, wow. It's such a weird thing. Like when you see Eli ride and you see Jett ride, even Prado, it's so different. Like it's insane. I watch these videos of just raw video of Eli riding the same track as Jett. You would think, when you see it, you're there. Like there's no way. You know that's like Jett. Oh, that was a good. And then you see it's like a second faster. Like how the fuck can it be a second faster than that crazy dude that just destroyed the track? Godzilla just went around the track, dude.
Yeah, it was just like he just took to the whole house with a blowtorch.
Oh my gosh, it's insane.
Yeah, so that's gonna be an issue.
Yeah,
because Eli's going to be used to a pretty good salary.
You ever had Bobby on the show?
Bobby.
Bobby.
Dude, he's doing it.
He is.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot of views, I feel.
Have I said on the podcast that he called me into the... Dude,
Did he get
best?
Oh, this is good.
A1. I haven't told the story, but A1 in the pits. No, the Friday before. And then Duffy texts me and he's like, hey, just call in this weekend to the... I don't really know anyone at Star. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like I'm not the walk into the truck guy.
I'm not either. I feel weird.
Yeah, it's just I'm not
Like Steve does that. I mean, he's been around, so everyone
Yeah.
knows him. But like Darkside does that shit. I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Nah, I mean I just don't
I
really
see a chain and I'm like, hey man, I'm outside the chain.
I'll go eat the Lawrence boys food. I think I'm cool with that. Like
Yeah.
that's my little comfort zone. I got the monster rig, so like they got a nice coffee machine. I go make myself a coffee.
That's one thing I hate is trying to like I gotta go to New York and do all these factory bike videos. I gotta bug these guys. Hey man, can I do a video? Can I come in? Like I feel fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, I just like, that's their space.
Yeah.
You guys do your thing. I'll just take pictures and fucking carry on. But anyway, so Duffy's like, dude, come by the thing. And I was like, all right. Didn't. And I was just walking past. And then one of the mechanics runs out. And he's like, hey, Bobby wants to talk to you.
No boy.
And I was like, fuck. Like,
boy.
I don't know if this is a good wants to talk to you or a bad wants to talk to you. And anyway, I go into the trailer. Bobby's in there. Jensen's in there. Cole's in there, which is nice because at least I got a little bit
got some backup.
Got some blood, you know. and then Mosman's in there. And then Bobby's like, it's really great to meet you. And I was like, oh, nice. I said, yeah. He's like, all right, everybody, I want y'all to leave. You stay here. And I was like, fuck, maybe this...
Grandpa wants to talk to him.
Maybe this isn't good. And then, anyway, so everyone leaves. And someone was going to say, he's like, no, you got to leave too. And I was like, fuck. And he's like,
for an ass reaming.
yeah. And he's like, I just want to tell you that I really like your podcast.
I'll be down.
I was just
That's
like,
it?
I was like, this is awesome. He's like, you got a couple things wrong about me, though. I never did get to play football. I blew out my knee. So I went to school, and I went to school to play football, but I didn't get... Just started telling me, like, about his life. Bro, crazy life. Like, a crazy life.
Really?
He owned a team way back in the 70s, and...
Well, Bobby J's Yamaha, that was his, right?
Yeah.
And that Kevin and Keith Johnson.
Yeah, he had, like, a whole thing
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on, and so he started... And I just said to him, I was like, Bobby, this is fucking awesome. Let's save this for the podcast.
And he's down.
And he was like, you really want to have me on your podcast?
Hell yeah.
I was like,
You're
yes.
an interesting guy.
I was like, yes, sir. I would like to have you on the podcast. Like, you're one of the biggest figures in this sport. No one knows anything about you. So I would have liked to have done it when the West Coast swing was on.
Yeah.
But it was just too busy.
It would have
like,
been awesome to have him right after that Max, interview.
dude. Well, he called me after that.
Okay.
And he was like, can we do it in the truck? I'm like, we can't do it in the truck.
No.
This is like a whole thing that we got to do.
So when is he coming in?
Hopefully, either I'll go to the Star Farm and I'll do something there, which is the biggest fuck around, and I don't want to do it. But maybe Parla.
It's good. Go to the Star Farm. Come to Georgia. Come ride with me.
I think no matter what, I'm gonna go to the Star Farm at some point in March. Just do some Yamaha shit, tick some boxes.
Ride the outdoor track. It's fun.
Yeah, big jumps though.
Nah, they mellowed it.
Really,
This tabletop's big, but like it's fine. We went there for the intro, and they had some fat dudes got broke off. Were you there?
No, I didn't go.
Dude.
I'm glad I didn't go.
There was this double in the back that it wasn't that big, but it was sharp, and I overjumped it by 20 feet. I thought I was dead. And then another guy did it, but he jumped it farther than I did and cartwheeled off of the track.
No.
Yeah, dude. Got fucked up.
I think is it down like near the tree line?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that was there way back in the day.
it was there
That
for
was like an OG Ricky track jump.
And what was crazy is that you had a mile-long runway. So for me, those are the hardest to judge because you got too much speed. And then the landing was short and steep. So that's what freaked me out. Out of a corner, I'm like, oh, I just got to give it the beans. But I had plenty of time to think about jumping this jump, and it was blind. Yeah. And I saw some dude that I feel like I was better than do it. I'm like, well, fuck, he's doing it. I'll do it. And I said, bah, bah, bah. Oh. fucking
Just
Doug
bing,
Henry.
bing,
Yeah,
bing,
exactly.
bing.
Boom! Wheels taco. And then some guy, when I left the second group, I saw the GoPro and dude just cartwheeled over it. But you should ride the outdoor track. It's fun.
Yeah, dude, and you're in great shape right now. I'm pretty keen to go there.
Yeah, you've never been?
Oh, I've been there when it was Ricky's place.
Okay, but not since.
Yeah. But I think I'm going to like make it a part of some content, my 250 build. I'm going to maybe go steal some parts. Yeah. Maybe they got some shit there I can take.
Have Gilly build you a set of suspension.
That's kind of what I want.
That's another smart human. Great dude.
I want to get him on the podcast, actually.
He would be great. He has so much history that I didn't know about till I got to know him because I've tested and worked with him quite a bit.
Yeah, he's been around a long-ass time,
Long time, dude. Dan Reardon type days, right?
Yep.
Long time.
That's when I knew him back. Yeah. Back in Aussie. He was like...
And then he's always... The more I learn about him and I talk to other people that have known Ricky, he's been an animal. Like he...
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know he was an animal.
Yeah.
But he is... he still rides really good. And then now that I know how he rides, and then when people have told me, I go, I see it. Like he is hard on bikes. He was not scared, and he would just go for it.
Yeah, he's a G. Like across the board, a G.
Yeah. And, dude, one of the smartest suspension techs I've ever been around. And you see it from the guys that are racing. They want him.
Well, I see it on your bike.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm around your Yamaha, I actually want to ride your Yamaha 450.
You probably shouldn't.
Yeah, because I'll just want it, eh? I'll just want it. I want that. I want what you got.
That's not real life over there. That's fake. That's fake living.
Gotta get me that shit.
It's good.
I know. I see it on the track. I'm like, fuck.
But that's the reason why when these guys come to the team, they're like, I want Ricky. Eli wanted Ricky. Cooper wanted Ricky.
Well, he's got him now, right?
Yeah, Cooper. So Ricky's just doing Webb and then Justin Cooper. That's all he's doing. Johnny JY is doing Eli stuff now.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So they've switched a little bit. So JY's over on Eli's side, and then they got Ricky for the other two guys.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Thanks for trolling me wearing the PULP shirt.
Well, that took you long enough to bust my balls about it.
Fuck you up to, mate. That's my nemesis.
You guys are cool, though, right now?
No, we fucking hate each other.
No, you don't.
We
he has not once ever talked shit on you. Around me. Never did. Not around me.
No, we're cool.
Yeah, okay.
No, we're cool.
Are you guys really cool, though, now?
I like Steve.
Yeah. I mean, he gave you a ride, right?
He did.
Twice.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Dude, the first time was like,
I was there the first time.
No, were you in the... No.
I was at Washougal when he gave you a ride back.
Yeah, but you weren't in the car.
No, I wasn't in the car.
Yeah.
But I heard about how awkward it was because you made it awkward.
Yeah. Like, dude, I was just trolling him the whole time.
Here's the thing about Steve. Like, I know... A lot of people don't like Steve, but I know him. He's a fucking good dude. He helps a lot of people that no one even knows about, right? Like he doesn't look for notoriety
out of it.
He doesn't. And honestly, I can sit here and tell you this: if it wasn't for him and his show, I fucking wouldn't be where I'm at because no one would even know who the fuck I am.
Mm.
I mean, me being on the show people got to see my personality. Right? And then that kind of snowballed into other opportunities. Just like what you said. People have been on the show and then opportunities have arose from your show. It's no different.
Yeah. So. No, he does such good shit. And I love that, like I said, I'm not scared of confrontation.
Yeah,
I just like it.
He's not either, so it makes it perfect.
It's fun to me. Yeah. I just love that shit. And I love when people push back. And he's like one of the only guys that actually does.
He is fucking degaff when it comes to that.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he knows it's going to start a shitstorm, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
And for me, I kind of respect it because he is who he is.
I just think too over time as well. Like I never saw Steve as like my competition.
Mm-hmm. You guys do two different things.
But a lot of people did see us,
of course,
as like, the best moto podcast. I'm like, I don't have a moto podcast. I have a podcast and heaps of moto dudes.
Yeah,
come on it.
Yeah.
So, but for a while there, it's like a grey area.
Did you say come on it?
Fuck. Bro, I was thinking before, dude, how bad could he get cooked by SMX come in this pod? There's a lot,
they've already cooked me a lot, I guess.
Bro, there's so much in this.
Ass will be one of them, for sure, yeah.
There's a lot. Wait, I should start sending that guy, I don't know who he is, I just want to start sending him the raw files and just be like, just cook, bro.
There you go, man.
Just
I gave you the goods. Do it up.
What Juju got fucked the other day? That was a good one.
You just said come in me, though, right? That's what you said?
Did I?
Is that what he said? You're like, you thought, is that like an Aussie thing? Like, that's really good? Like, yeah, come in me.
I don't know how I used that.
You said something like, hey, it's all good. No worry. Come in me.
I don't know that I said it.
Yes,
like
you did.
That,
Am I tripping?
I don't know
After we're done, you rewind that.
I don't know that I said it like that.
I'm like, damn, that's why I asked you. That's what made me ask you. What the fuck you talking about?
Fuck, I've been thrown off. Yeah. I mean, no, I said something, but I just don't know if I said "come in me."
Oh,
that's a lot, dude.
That's what made me spurt. I was like, damn.
That's a lot. No, what I was saying, I think I was just talking about Steve. Over time,
yeah,
that I think people are seeing we're like doing very different things. I think
I think it's calmed down a lot. I think a lot of the things early on from people commenting sparked some things up, but
it was fucking hilarious for me to watch. Like, to me, I had fun with that.
Well, I remember you were on the show one time and I was on the show co-hosting,
yeah.
And you guys were having a conversation,
yeah.
And you called him out on some stuff,
yeah.
And then he responded.
It was fine.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like, it's crazy though. And even when the privateers thing happened, when I was like, fuck the privateers, which I mean, I had a fairly...
you got cooked for that a little bit, right?
I had a fairly nuanced take, and I'm completely fine. Now I think, again, it's funny, but it's like, it's interesting to see, and I think Steve went through that when we had our thing.
Mm-hmm.
People were just waiting.
Just waiting for
They
it.
just wanted something
to
then pile on. And then I just fucking found it.
Yeah.
Gave him the video, gave the little thing, and just it started the wave.
Some old school rap battles, dude.
And then it was the same thing when I said the privateers. All the people that had just been like, I fucking can't stand that guy. He talks way too much. He fucking bros down with the riders. Those guys were just like,
oh yeah, and they'll take one piece of what you said and just go rip right out there.
And I thought it was awesome.
That's great.
The whole time that the privateer thing was happening. Like, dude, there was signs at Glen Helen.
There was?
Did you not see the sign?
No way.
Bro, on one of the signs at Glen Helen, like, fuck gypsy tails.
Like spray painted on or something?
Yeah, like a dude's like made a fucking...
No way.
It's somewhere. Where is it?
I've never seen that. Have you seen that, Aiden? Oh, wow.
I just had all these people send it to me.
Has any privateer ever said one thing to you about it?
Privateers have said, I don't like your take on it. I don't agree. But I love your show.
Okay. And that's fine. Like, hey, that's understandable.
But also, my take, if you actually care to listen,
I heard
like,
it.
Yeah. We just don't need
I understand what you're saying. I don't agree with it, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you want to be a upper echelon sport, I understand what you're saying.
And there should be like a whole, like, PULP Steve's race.
Yeah.
Let's just do fucking 17 of them.
Yeah, but see, that never will happen. That's the fake world. Like, what we're living in, it is what it is. So we got to make do with what we have, and how do we...
It's a terrible attitude, Keefer.
That's true. Nothing would actually happen from that if we just...
That's a terrible... Hey, Triumph should just keep their bike 2025.
No,
don't change it. That's the reality, bro.
That's two different things.
That's the world we're living in, bro.
I don't know. I just think... Your podcast, Steve's podcast, it is two different things. I've seen that when I started watching your stuff. I was like, yeah, it's just different. Yeah.
But they're just people wanted a reason to hate.
I also like that you don't care, like, when people talk shit. It's like, yeah, it rolls off your shoulders. My wife is not like that. She'll see some shit and she's just forever. She's this DEFCON 4, right? For me, I'm just like, you gotta like relax. I go, no, you don't. You don't have to do anything. Just let it go. It is what it is. If I had a guy tell me a long time, and I still remember this to this day.
Find it, Griff. Sorry.
If everyone likes you, you're doing something wrong.
1,000,000%.
You're doing something wrong.
But if everyone hates you, you're doing something wrong
correct.
too.
Either side of that.
Yeah. And my dad would always say, if enough people call you a dickhead, you're probably a dickhead.
Right.
And there's a lot of truth in that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? But he also said we've all got a bit of dickhead in us.
And I think facts as well.
That's the other thing. When people give me shit, the reason I don't get pissed off, because I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm a fucking idiot. I get it.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And that's the easiest, dude. If once you say that to someone that's in your shit about it, there's nothing else to say. They have no ammo. It's when you argue back and try to like fight for your position that they love. Like sometimes I know some of the stuff that they talk about. I'm like, yeah, man, I'm sorry, man. Oh, Keefer after dark. You guys, if you don't like it, I get it. I understand it. It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
No problem. And what else are you going to say? That's it.
Yeah.
Moving along.
Yeah, no, I try and be better. I just don't always nail it. Coming here, don't always nail it.
Who does?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Didn't ask Tomac about tons of shit.
There's only one person that wasn't flawed, Jace.
Steve?
Jesus Christ.
The big JC.
The big JC.
Did you find it? Fuck, someone sent it. It was so funny too.
I've never seen that. I thought I would see that.
So many people sent it to me and were like, dude, do you want me to take it down? And I was like, fuck no.
That's
dude.
great.
You have to keep that up there. Like that's a meme. That's some funny ass shit.
That's awesome.
Fuck, who sent it to me? Dude, I feel like
And Lori let it run for a bit?
it's probably still there.
Oh, dude, I would have saw that if it's there.
Let me find it.
If it's on those billboards as you drive in, I would have saw that.
I think it was on the sign as you leave.
On the sign, on the stop sign, on stickers, where all the stickers are and shit.
Yeah.
Ah, got it. Now I know where to look.
Oh, bro, and also this is a fucking one pager that somebody wrote about me.
Oh, this is okay.
Nah. Oh, yeah. I'll airdrop it. Pull it up. Shit's fucking funny. This was all like the whole Davey Coombs thing and the fucking Glenn Helen thing.
The Bud thing got sparked up, and then there's a lot of that too. Like the same thing we were talking about, Steve, and he sued Yamaha and all these things. He didn't sue Yamaha. That's not
fake news.
That's not correct.
What did he do?
I mean, that's for him to tell. It's his story to tell. But I can tell you, I mean, I was around Yamaha, and it wasn't a lawsuit. So
just some shit went down.
And that's probably why no one could find it, because it's
because that's public record.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are just going to hate. Yeah, look at this. It's pretty funny. So where's the Gypsy Tales bit? Gypsy Tales, Tails. Don't ever talk shit about our privateers ever again. This guy's just gone.
He just vented everything out to this fucking one-page letter, right?
I think it's not all a bad thing to have people in the industry that just completely carry on with absolute fucking nonsense, but actually like have a bit of a following and attraction. It's like, think about the human body or like any kind of like complex organism. There's like parasites and there's
There's good and bad bacteria. Yeah.
You know, and like you can't have a healthy organism without some bad bacteria, you know? And I think that there's a bunch of shit in our industry that's like really bad bacteria.
If you don't have the bad people, how do you know way to act?
Yeah. So you kind of need you need some bad bacteria to let the good bacteria kind of
good and evil.
Yeah, do their thing.
You need that.
But if you have too many parasites from an industry or a biological organism, then the thing dies. But it's a good sign because we didn't have anything back in the day.
That's true.
Fuck, before we started doing this shit, like
wouldn't have those letters going up either on a
100%. It's so good.
It's this whole broadcast. This guy sucks. We need this guy in there. Do people like? And this is me. I love motorcycles. I watch it every weekend. I'm a part of the industry. Sure, there are better guys than others, but I don't raise a stink about it or think about it too much where I'm just like, I want that guy out of there. I need him out of there. I won't even watch it because of this guy. I don't really care that much because I'm more interested in watching the racing than listening to the broadcasting because maybe I know a lot about the sport. Now, I flip that to a football. I love football. And I have favorite broadcasters that I listen to that I learn more. Tony Romo, love listening to him break down the game. And I appreciate that. But if someone isn't great in football, I'm not fucking going mad about it. Like, I just don't care enough about that. It's crazy to me how many people, like, you know, Ricky, you're the GOAT, but get the hell out of there. Put Daniel in. I don't.
Who cares?
Exactly.
It just ain't that big of a deal. I also, this is my take on the Ricky thing.
I think Ricky's I don't have a problem with it.
Me neither. But also, think about it in this context, right? Think about if Tiger Woods commentated golf.
Okay.
Like, that's the equivalent of what we've got.
We're seeing.
You've got the best fucking dude to ever do the thing telling you about the thing.
Right.
I go back to Seattle last year. Telling me that Cooper Webb has arm pump.
Right.
One of the best calls ever.
Yeah.
Changed my whole viewing experience
Yeah.
of that race. Getting to watch it through that lens of knowing that he has arm pump.
Push it
and
a different
watching that race, knowing that in my mind, completely changed that experience for me.
Yeah.
That is like the most concrete example of why that dude's there.
Yeah.
You can't get that with anyone else.
And that doesn't mean it's going to happen every fucking round.
No.
Like, look at human being. We have off days. We have good days. Sometimes we know things. Sometimes we don't. Don't care how good a sport you are. You're not going to get every single call right.
But when you have Tony Romo, Tom Brady, you have those guys, like you're getting the most qualified person
Yes.
in the world to tell you about that thing. Is he going to be the most polished? Does he have repetitive catchphrases? Like, yeah, maybe. But I'm willing to accept any of those things
Yeah.
to know that the best dude of all time, and the fact that he still actually gives a fuck enough to be in there.
Right.
Because he's rich.
How many guys have dipped in, got the money? C'est la vie.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
How many guys are like that? And this is another example. Guys that have been at that level that still love to ride a dirt bike. Like Villo, he doesn't do it as much, but he'll still go riding. You know, Shorty, fucking Shorty rides all the time. That's what I love.
Tedesco's like that too.
Dude,
Just
they
loves
still love
riding.
to ride, but I know a lot of guys are just like, I can't do it like I did it, so I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, that'd be tough. Can't see that, but
Yeah.
we should appreciate who we have that's still around.
While you have him.
Yeah.
Because it's only a short window.
Yep.
So, dude, this was awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I've had fun.
We've been trying to do this for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a
You're the
minute.
GOAT. Speaking of Ricky Carmichael, you're our GOAT.
The millions of views for cheating.
You're the guy. Even though you come in here wearing a fucking pulp shirt.
Oh, man. Tip of the hat.
I got your Keefer merch though.
You're going to burn it now?
I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna we'll send some people to your links. What's the website? Can you bring it up real quick?
Yep, KeeferTesting.com. There's some merch up there you can go buy. Check it out. There's no pictures of Heather on there, so sorry to disappoint a lot of people.
Yeah, even Anna thinks Heather's hot as fuck.
Oh, really? Aiden loves to hear when people say his mom's hot as fuck.
I bet you do, eh?
There you go. OEM Yamaha fully assembled wheel sets. Are they worth it, Jace?
Oh, you got the Church of 350T.
Yeah. I gave you one.
Did ya?
Yeah. Wow.
When did you give me one?
Wow.
When did you give me one?
Fucking years ago.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Bullshit.
No, you didn't. You gave me a hoodie. I have a Keefer
This is the whole
hoodie.
reason why we made it, because we talked about that.
Yeah, I know, but
I gave you it.
You didn't.
Oh, then I'll have to give you one then.
I got a hoodie.
Okay.
OEM Yamaha. Are they worth it? Fucking hell, Keefer.
Hey,
Answering
stock
the big
OEM
question.
wheels, best wheels.
For the Yamaha?
That's the best wheel set you can get as far as a stock OEM motorcycle. Yamaha wheels are cheap. You can buy fully assembled wheels for $500. Sprocket, disc, everything on them, and they last.
What, both set?
500 for rear, 600 for front.
Why is the front more?
Oh, sorry, 400 for front, 500 for rear.
That's pretty good, eh?
That's really good. For everything, you have spokes, disc, seals, bearings. It's all there. It's pretty sick.
Love
And they're not pieces of shit like the KTM wheels.
Yeah, right. They look good, though.
They do, but spokes blow through, hubs jacked, sprocket bolts loosen up.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing. This was great, bro.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate
You're one of my favorite people,
I appreciate that, and you're one of mine.
especially in America.
I like that we can talk about other shit besides dirt bikes.
Yeah, but everyone should know that you're as good a dude as you seem.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
We'll do this again in another 12 months, whenever you can fit me into your schedule.
Let's go riding.
Whenever you and Steve can fucking let me have a crumb of your greatness.
Oh, God.
Just a crumb of your
We'll
greatness.
see you in
bro.
Georgia on some good dirt. We'll get you remotivated.
Yeah, so how do I fly? Just fly to Atlanta? Is it
Atlanta,
far
we're
away?
45 minutes away.
Fuck.
You got an extra bedroom for you. There you go.
Is he going to be there?
He'll be there. He'll take you riding.
All right.
So
wrench for me, pit board for me.
Yeah, we
do
got
the stopwatch.
Yeah.
All right, let's go get some food. You
See
hungry?
ya.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.